Hello, everybody, and welcome to Jimmy John's Field on what is now a beautiful Thursday night for tonight's matchup between the Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers and the Eastside Diamond Hoppers. I'm Brady Beaton, joined tonight by Jake Riepma. Jake, thanks so much for making it down. Should be a fun one on what's turned out to be a beautiful night for baseball.
Boy, Brady, you're not wrong, because if you would have told me on the way here we're going to need sunscreen instead of an umbrella, I'd have thought you were crazy. I mean, we were dodging hail, we were dodging rain, but the skies have opened up. It is a gorgeous afternoon for baseball. Should be a great evening. Where else would you rather be than Jimmy John's Field? Beavers, Hoppers. I'm excited to get this one going.
Tarp will be coming off shortly. We have a great pitching matchup that we'll talk about in a bit, but both sides have some bats that, if they can get them going, are very strong. First, we'll talk about Christian Ortega, one of the newest Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers. Hit .385 his senior year in college. That's a bat to a lineup that, well, could really use it.
Yeah, no doubt about it, Brady, because when you look at a player that's got a new opportunity, a new scenery, and chances to really embark upon a new chapter, it's exciting to see what he can do. He uses all fields. He's able to hit for power, able to hit for average, and could really be a valuable asset to this lineup on the offensive end.
Well, he adds to a lineup that has some guys notably at the top of the lineup in Chris Davis, a guy at the leadoff spot that has speed, has some pop, and can set the table for the Beavers.
Yeah, you're exactly right with that, because Davis is a guy, and especially the last time I was here, human highlight reel.
Right.
I mean, using the whole field, making plays defensively. He's the type of guy that when he's in the batter's box, all eyes in the stadium are dialed in, because you don't want to miss a moment when Davis is at the plate.
Absolutely not. For the Eastside Diamond Hoppers, they have a big bat returning. Noah Marcoux, the big lefty, slotted in the 2 spot tonight, and if he can get going and do what Ryan Cockey knows his slugger can do, he can be a big boost to this Diamond Hopper lineup.
Well, you're exactly right. And hitting the 2 hole, it's a versatile spot, right? He can be a table setter. He can get on base. He can get rallies going. But he'll also have an opportunity to clean rallies up and hit runners in and that sort of thing. So really a versatile spot in the lineup there in the 2 spot. Should be a valuable addition to this team that needs a boost in the offensive side of things.
He adds to a lineup that maybe is starting to get a little power going. And in the non-public game earlier in the week, both Joe Califoot and Bryant Schellenbarger both went yard to help the Diamond Hoppers get off a 6-game losing streak, get their first win, and get it back. Now you're adding more firepower to that lineup.
And you're exactly right. And this is the time of the year where you start to feel like things are starting to get into place. You know, end of July, starting to make that push into August. It's an exciting time. It's an important time. And it's another opportunity here tonight for really both teams to put their best foot forward.
Mentioned the pitching matchup. Jake Armstrong and Chris Kelly going at it. 2 guys that are near the top of the leaderboards in ERA. Armstrong, in under 20 innings of work, has been fantastic. Chris Kelly at a 1.42 ERA, leading the Diamond Hoppers. Runs could be coming at a premium tonight. Pitching's dominated all year. If you at least look at the stats, says it should dominate again tonight.
You're exactly right. With Armstrong on the mound for the Beavers, when he's pounding that zone, he's as good as it gets in this league. We saw that the last time out for the Beavers in their last win, splitting that doubleheader. He was a huge reason why he's able to take command of the game on the bump and really dictate what this Beavers team can do defensively because of that strong presence on the mound.
Well, he's Jake Riepma, I'm Brady Beaton. It's Wand and Wizards night here at Jimmy John's Field. We'll have more pregame for you when you come back here on the USPBL Network.
There are many things you can rely on in this world, like a sunny day brightening your mood, your mom baking the world's best apple pie, and never a dull moment in running your business. And when it comes to time-consuming HR tasks, you can rely on Tryon. Tryon can handle payroll and taxes, employee benefits, and more, so you can stay focused on attracting and retaining the best talent. With Tryon, you don't have to grow it alone. Visit RelyOnTryon.com.
You can always rely on Tryon.
Back here at Jimmy John's Field, getting ready for this Thursday night matchup between the Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers and the Eastside Diamond Hoppers. Before we get into the nuts and bolts of things, let's take a look at all those sponsors that make this broadcast possible here on the USPBL network. Fairytale Entertainment, Ascension, Belfour Property Restoration, Budweiser, Dave & Buster's, DTE, Fifth Third Bank, Jarvcom, Jimmy John's, Macomb Community College, McLaren Macomb, McQuaid Heating and Cooling, Plumbing and Refrigeration, your Metro Detroit Chevy dealer, Pepsi, Scott's, and United Wholesale Mortgage. Thank you as always to all our sponsors. Brady Beaton alongside Jake Rietma. And Jake, should be a fun contest between these two teams.
Boy, you said it, Brady. We talked about it in the open. The weather gods have smiled upon us because it was looking a little dicey in the afternoon. I mean, where you were, where I was, we had hail in the area, rain, winds, but my goodness, you would never know it. The flagpole beyond the wall in center field is barely even moving, not a cloud in the sky. Great night for baseball.
Well, let's take a look at the two starting lineups for both sides. We will start with the visiting Beavers of Birmingham Bloomfield. Leading off, the center fielder Chris Davis. Rudy Ramirez, the Wayne State product, out in left field. J.D. Stubbs bats third at first base. Malik Bolin, the designated hitter, in the cleanup spot. Ray Hilbrick is in right field batting fifth. The new bat, Christian Ortega, is at the hot corner batting sixth. Luke Stevenson, the catcher, batting seventh. Marcus Judd, the second baseman, bats eighth. Ben Wilcoxon, the shortstop, rounds out the lineup. Jake Armstrong on the mound for the Birmingham Beavers, coming into this game at 11-11 overall. Let's take a look at now the home team, the Eastside Diamond Hoppers. They will lead off with Luis Acevedo at second base. The returning Noah Marcoux, Jake and I previewed that in the pregame, talking about what a big bat it is for them to get back. Joe Burke in the 3 spot at first base. Bryant Schellenbarger out in right, he's batting cleanup. Joseph Califoot in left field batting fifth. Anthony Flores patrols center field in the 6th hole. Taj Porter behind the dish batting 7th. Todd Maddox at the hot corner at batting 8th. And Chandler Dunn, the shortstop tonight, rounds out the lineup. Chris Kelly on the mound for the Diamond Hoppers. Jake, if you look at these lineups, we mentioned some guys, Davis and Ortega for the Beavers, Marcoux and Schellenbarger for the Diamond Hoppers. Anyone else jump out to you that if they have a good night, the team's probably having a good night?
Yeah, absolutely. You look at those guys in positions and just the way the batting order lines up with Califoot there for the Diamond Hoppers and Bolin, the designated hitter. You know, both squads will look to them to bat some runs in because offensively, both these teams at times have lived up to their potential, but as of late, plating runs has been a challenge, so we'll see how it plays out here this afternoon. Conditions are nice, not a ton of wind. At one time, it looked like wind was blowing out, so maybe we'll see some dingers tonight, Brady. You never know.
Well, if you look at the Ascension pitcher comparison, both pitchers very solid. Chris Kelly comes into this game for the Diamond Hoppers 3-1 on the year in 10 appearances. 25 innings of work have produced a 1.42 ERA. And for the Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers, Jake Armstrong has been magnificent for them throughout. And we will step aside, but when we come back, we will have baseball here from Jimmy John's Field on a Thursday night. You're watching the USPBL Network.
about the promo that Jimmy John's got going on? 5 off 20, probably pulling it off. Magic?
You got David's Copperfields in there? Show yourself, Copperfields!
Jimmy John's. $5 off orders of 20 or more.
Back here at Jimmy John's Field, Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers and the Eastside Diamond Hoppers here on a Thursday Wands and Wizards night here in downtown Utica. Brady Beaton alongside Jake Rietma as we get ready for this contest. Should be a fun one. We mentioned before the break, Chris Kelly, the 142 ERA, 22 strikeouts in 25 innings. That doesn't blow you off the page, but the ERA number does, and the batting average against of 157. That's a pretty impressive number.
No doubt about it, Brady. And it all starts with pounding the zone, filling up that strike zone, dictating the pace, and really having a commanding presence out there on the rubber, and something Kelly's certainly capable of doing. It's just a matter of if he puts it all together and trusts his defense behind him.
We talk about pounding the zone. In the 25 innings, 6 walks. That will go a long way. That gives yourselves a chance. But let's take a look right now at how the defense aligns behind Chris Kelly tonight. Jake, take us around the diamond. What are the Diamond Hoppers coming out with behind Chris Kelly?
Absolutely, Brady. Behind the dish, we'll start with Taj Porter. Around the horn, Maddox is at third. Dunn is your shortstop. Acevedo playing second base. Burke over there at first base. In left, Joseph Califoot. Center fielder, Anthony Flores. That's your captain of the outfield, patrolling all kinds of ground out there at Jimmy John's Field in center. Brian Schellenbarger, the cleanup hitter over there in right field, wearing jersey number 25. So Porter, Maddox, Dunn, Acevedo, Burke, and in the outfield from left to right, Califoot, Flores, and Schellenbarger for your East Side Diamond Hoppers, who are looking mighty spiffy in those all whites with the orange sleeves, if I must say. Green caps with the orange bill. I get Miami Hurricane vibes from them.
They do look very nice. As always, our defense brought to you by 3-Dimensional Services Group. And Chris Kelly has completed his warm-up, and a dangerous bat in Chris Davis coming up to lead off the game for the Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers.
Boy, you're not kidding, Brady. 352 batting average, and I know it's not just about batting average before the analytical guys get at me, but anytime you got 352 leading off, it's a dangerous lineup, and Chris Davis, the human highlight reel, I like to call him.
He has some pop, and he does a very nice job patrolling the center field. Have to battle the shadows early on, as you can see. Going from the light to the dark is the first pitch. 73 miles per hour on the gun for strike one, and we're underway here on a Thursday night in downtown Utica.
Boy, Brady, you're not kidding. Visibility going to be tough at the beginning here for the hitters.
Round ball up the middle. Acevedo was able to get a piece of it, but nothing more. Infield hit for Chris Davis to lead off the ball game.
Nice hit there for Davis, and a great effort from Acevedo. Even if he gloves that ball cleanly, all of his momentum going to second base, and with the speed of Davis, you got to believe he beats that out either way. Once again, Davis doing his job at the top of the order. He's on base with nobody out.
Brings up Rudy Ramirez out in left field today. The Brighton native, hometown kid. Swings at the first pitch he sees on the ground. Maddox picks it up to second for one. Acevedo relay, and one pitch is all Chris Kelly needed to erase the leadoff single. 5-4-3, and there's 2 away here in the first.
Boy, how about that, Brady? Pitcher's best friend. You get a hard hit ground ball, keep it on the infield, and the 5-4-3 twin killing is exactly what the doctor ordered for Kelly.
That really changes the complexion. You think, all right, we got the leadoff guy on. It wasn't a hard hit ball, but you get on any way you can, and first pitch just tailor-made right to Maddox and a clean turn.
Also, nice job of executing, because yes, it was tailor-made, but anytime you got that added element of the double play, especially going all the way around the horn, 5-4-3, the Diamond Hoppers doing a good job of executing there.
Round ball to the right side.
Burke picks it up, and a very quick top of the first comes to the close. Chris Davis gets on with the leadoff infield single, but Kelly gets the double play and Stubbs bounces out. Diamond Hoppers come up to bat in the bottom of the first, still scoreless. You're watching the USPBL Network.
Thanks, Kevin, guys. I'm over here in section 1 moment. JD the field demo presented by Michigan First Credit Union. He's found someone extremely special here tonight. He found Layla. He named Layla these beautiful flowers presented by Thrifty Floors. So thank you, JD, for picking the perfect sweetheart, and thank you, Thrifty Floors. Kevin, back to you.
If you're a fan of our favorite band, talk JD's Field General, take home this perfect studs.
At Ascension, Michigan, we're committed to being your first choice for healthcare. Our nationally recognized heart program is the leader throughout Michigan in minimally invasive heart valve procedures. For joint replacement, spine, and cancer care, patients choose our specialists for advanced care and treatment. And we also excel in the things that can't be measured. Listening more closely, caring more compassionately.
Slide into a new home.
Back here at Jimmy John's Field, scoreless as the Diamond Hoppers come to bat for the first time. They will face the right arm of Jake Armstrong. He's had a pretty nice year so far. Only 17 2/3 innings, but a .51 ERA, just the lone earned run to his name. He's trusted his defense behind him. And Jake, take us around the diamonds presented by Three Dimensional Services Group for the Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers tonight.
You got it, Brady. It starts on the mound with Jake Armstrong rocking that cotton candy glove. His battery mate behind the dish is Stevenson doing the catching tonight. Luke Stevenson, Christian Ortega over there at the hot corner. Ben Wilcoxon at shortstop, dynamic glove over there, and he's made some phenomenal plays all season long. Marcus Judd plays second, and J.D. Stubbs over there at first base. In the outfield from left to right, Rudy Ramirez patrolling left field. Chris Davis, your human highlight reel out there in center. And Ray Hilbrich in right field, wearing jersey number 10 with the navy blue uniforms, the red caps, and the gray pants, representing the Beavers here this evening.
And Armstrong trying to, well, replicate what his counterpart did in the first inning. Chris Kelly needed 5 pitches to get out of the top of the first. See if the Diamond Hoppers have a little bit more of a patient approach as Luis Acevedo comes to the dish. First pitch just missed on the inside part of the plate. And we are, well, the Diamond Hoppers ready to go in the bottom of the first. Fly ball to right. Hilbrich easily brings it in after a step to the right, so only 2 pitches needed to dispatch Acevedo.
Yeah, Brady, both pitchers looking comfortable on the mound. I know it's early, but conversely, offensively, seems like every hitter has an attack mindset, and that can be in a good aggressive approach, but at the same time, when it starts to be a quick inning for pitchers, it's up to the rest of the guys to slow it down a little bit, maybe see a couple more pitches before you're aggressively hacking at the first couple of offerings.
Well, Noah Marcoux, a guy who was on the IR for a while, is now back in a big left-handed bat. We highlighted him in the pregame show. Watches ball 1 go by, 1 ball, 1 strike. But Jake, there wasn't any on-field BP. They got an abbreviated batting practice in the cage. Could have an impact early on with how guys are seen, maybe not in their normal routines tonight.
Boy, you're exactly right, Brady. We talked with both managers a little bit, and anytime you battle some of the elements, that throws a wrinkle into the routine. That one's fouled out of play, but these guys are creatures of habit, but they're also athletes. They'll be just fine. They'll bounce back, and it might take a little bit of time here with the shadows that we talked about at home plate, but like I said, these guys are professionals, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they can do.
Marcoux swings and misses as Armstrong got him out in front. First strikeout of the game. Quickly 2 away in the home half of the first, brings up Joe Burke. And before they can get the third out, let's tell you that the mix that Armstrong will be coming with, not a lot of not a lot of variety. Fastball, slider, changeup. Keeps it pretty simple, and, well, it's worked for him so far this year.
No doubt about it. You know, sometimes pitchers and pitching coaches will tell you if you can master some, a couple of pitches, you don't need to experiment with so many other offerings and be great at what you know.
All right, again, it has worked through the early part of the season. Just a lone earned run given up by Armstrong. Looking for a 1-2-3 first inning. Wave and a miss. 2-2 on Burke. Guy that doesn't get a lot of strikeouts, had a healthy amount of swings and misses here early.
Yeah, Brady, we talked about it right now, especially with the conditions, with the shadow and the absence of batting practice, and pitching just being a little bit ahead of the hitting in the USPBL as a whole so far this year.
2-2, misses off the plate away. Count runs full. So Armstrong's had to work a little more than his counterpart, Kelly. Still looking for that 1-2-3 inning. Works into the abbreviated windup. Fly ball center field. Davis on a beat, catches it on a run, and that'll do it for the Diamond Hoppers in the first inning. We've played one, still scoreless here at Jimmy John's Field. You're watching the USPBL Network.
Slide into a new home. Work with a local mortgage pro who works for you. Get a cheaper, faster, easier home loan. Find a mortgage broker near you today at findamortgagebroker.com.
With a transforming world, we can see how drastically the world is heading towards automation. And so, we need 24/7 surveillance and security systems for our homes and businesses to avoid any theft or breach of privacy. JARPCOM brings the installation of security cameras to the tip of your fingers with our state-of-the-art mobile app. JARPCOM also provides surveillance monitoring of your entire property with flexible options that offer a dependable solution to be scaled to fit any domestic or commercial need. Contact JARPCOM today for a free estimate at 800-369-0374 or look us up on the web at jarpcom.com.
Back here at Jimmy John's Field, scoreless through one. Bolin, Hillbridge, and Ortega due up in the road half of the second. Chris Kelly, as I mentioned, only had to throw 5 pitches to get through the first, hoping for something similar here tonight, or here this inning.
Brady, I'm hoping nobody was caught in traffic on the way here, because at the rate of this game, I mean, we're talking, I know it's only 1 inning, but man, both pitchers settled in nicely, and 1, 2, 3 innings. And albeit the Beavers defense had a little bit more work to do than the Hoppers, but regardless, 3 up, 3 down, both pitchers looking comfortable, and we're off and rolling already in the top of the second.
Well, we knew that was a possibility looking at the numbers. I mean, Kelly had the worst ERA at 147. He's had a pretty nice season, and both these guys don't have overwhelming velocity. They have enough that they can get by, but they don't have that 96, 97 mile per hour fastball. They just get it done and trust the defense behind them. You mentioned it in the pregame. Throw strikes and let the defense do work behind you.
No doubt about it. That can be the pitcher's best friend. We saw it in the top of the first inning, the double play. Anytime you get the twin killing 2 for 1, you can't beat that if you're a pitcher.
Malik Bolin coming up to bat. Talk about a guy that can turn on a fastball. We've seen a couple times this year him make pitchers pay. Expect a healthy dose of the off speed. It seems to be what Bolin gets, but a first pitch fastball hit on the ground, left side, done across the diamond, and Bolin just a step too slow. 1 pitch, 1 out here in the second inning.
Yeah, Dunn did a nice job with that ball. It's taking the proper angle. He knew he couldn't get his entire body in front of it, and then even bobbling it a little bit in the exchange, still was able to get enough on the throw. Tremendous 6-3 put out.
And with these quick outs, I mean, 4 outs and 6 pitches. If you're Ray Hillbridge, if you're Christian Ortega, I don't care if that first pitch is a cookie. You have to take just to make Chris Kelly do a little bit of work.
Right, and that's got to be a conversation in the Beavers dugout right now. Just echoing it from player to player. Hey, guys, he has mowed us down in the first part of this game. Let's see some pitches. Let's make him work a little bit as that one's fouled off. And let's stop making it so easy for Kelly on the bump right now.
Hilbrich, not a ton of at-bats, but what he's had has been very solid, hitting 400 early in his Beavers career. Puts one on the ground foul, 1-2, so gonna have to throw at least 4 pitches this at-bat, a deep count for what we've had early on.
Yeah, and talking with manager John Dombrowski before the game, Brady, you know, he needs to see some new life in the batting order there as we see the hard-working camera crew in behind center field. Kara Wolfbauer doing her thing out there.
Fly ball left field, ooh, and the grass goes out under Califoot. Don't know if he would have got there, would have probably held it to at least a single, but as it stands, Hilbrich with a little bit of a break, and he gets a 1-out double, standing on second as Christian Ortega comes up to bat.
Yeah, just a tough break there for Califoot. I mean, everybody in the stadium knows what happens. He planted, and with all the rain in the area, again, it's hard to imagine rain with all the
And it wasn't a rain. It was felt like a tropical storm coming in. Probably what, 25, 30 feet of visibility in front of you.
Oh, I lost power.
Right. I mean, I was going 45 on the highway at one point. I'm driving in going, why am I driving in? There's no way we get the game. And then I get here. A lot of it missed Jimmy John's Field. And then, obviously, right now, it's a gorgeous night.
Yeah, but just a tough break for Califoot. And Kelly, for that matter, who was doing his job, wasn't hit particularly hard, but he'll go down in the scorebook as a double for Hilbrich.
Christian Ortega, his first professional at-bat. 1-1 count. Ortega, he's originally from Miami, Florida, went to Tusculum University in Tennessee, had a pretty good senior season, hit 385. The Beavers are hoping he'll inject some life into this offense.
No doubt, talking with him before the game, he's excited to be here, excited to get a professional opportunity, and really a chance to prove himself, especially offensively.
Righty ahead in the count. Kelly delivers. Popped up right over top of us here at Jimmy John's Field. 2-2.
Now, Brady, you know I don't have the best set of hands on me, but the reaction's there, and I will do my best if we get one in the booth here.
It's tough to do with how high the netting is around here, but we've had a couple close ones, and the suites over top of us overhang a bit. You'd have to thread the needle. High chopper left side, done. Can't get it, goes into the outfield, and easily coming around to score Hilbrich. And we'll see, they're gonna give the Beavers a hit, and that will be Christian Ortega's first professional hit, be an RBI single. The Beavers on top 1-0.
Brady, that's going down in the scorebook as a line shot into left that brought home a run.
All counts the same.
That's right, an RBI. Great way to start his USPBL career for Christian Ortega. And again, we talked about just the vibes starting a professional career. He's got to have a little bit of a sense of nerves about him, but you know what? He put the bat on the ball and good things happen. He's got himself an RBI.
Well, and it helps just to get the first one out of the way, because that way you're not thinking about it. That way you don't end up pressing for it. Give your team the lead. That's a nice start. 1-0 Beavers in the second. Luke Stevenson up to bat. The 0-1 fouled straight back. I think it caught the umpire in the shin guard. 0-2.
And if you're Kelly, you just got to get back to work, because again, it goes down the scorebook as a double fouled by an RBI single, but not really two hard hit balls. He had the tough break with Califoot losing his footing, and Kelly's been sharp. He just needs to bear down, get out of this inning, get his team back in the dugout down just 1.
Well, as a pitcher and as a coach, you tell them throw outs and it'll all work. As strike 3 called to Stevenson. That outside corner was given to Kelly, and Stevenson, I don't think, agreed with that as the catcher. I think he'll politic to get that for his guy next half inning.
Yeah, you got to work for the next call, but as long as we're consistent all game long, and we have the luxury of this beautiful elevated view.
Right.
But it did look to be a bit off the plate on the outside part. Nonetheless, again, goes down in the scorebook as a K.
Well, a little luck against Chris Kelly, then maybe a little luck for him. It all evens out, but as I was saying, just throw outs and it'll all even itself out in the end. He hasn't been barreled up once. It was an infield single, a fly ball to left where Califoot lost his footing, and then a high chopper that Dunn couldn't have done anything on the in-between hop. So Kelly's been throwing well. The box score might lie a little bit in that regard.
Still being so early, plenty of time to get out of this inning, get his team back with just the 1-run damage.
Absolutely. As Marcus Judd, half-hearted hack at the 1-1. Had the breaking ball at about 75. Ball and 2 strikes. Judd uses his one and only timeout. Again, the USPBL has all the new rules that you'll see in Major League Baseball. 1 timeout for the batter. There is a pitch clock. You can only throw over 2 disengagements rather. The 1-2 hit on the ground to the right side, finds the hole. 2-out knock for Marcus Judd. Ortega held at second. 2 on with 2 away as Ben Wilcoxon comes to the plate.
Good piece of hitting by Judd to go with that pitch, shoot it out the other way to right field, and you like to see Ortega's hustle. Thought he might make the turn at second and head to third, but nonetheless 2 on, 2 out for the Beavers after a nice piece of hitting from Marcus Judd.
Well, it's one of those old cliches, the old, I don't know, rules, unwritten rules of baseball, never make the first or third out at third base. And maybe that's what he was going for. How much validity that has, I don't know. But Ben Wilcoxon in an RBI opportunity put a crooked number up here in the second inning.
Yeah, you don't want to test Schellenbarger's arm too much out there in right either.
And he likes to uncork one, and he likes to show off the arm. So any opportunity he gets, he'll try to gun someone down. But again, it was a nice piece of hitting by Judd, but he didn't barrel it up. It wasn't hit particularly hard, just found the right spot. 0-1 on the hands, 1-1. Wilcoxon did a nice job at the bottom of the order, hitting just shy of 270. Only has a few RBIs to his name, but a chance to add more here. 1-1 missed high and in. Kelly comes set. The pitch. Wave and a miss out on that front foot. Looked like he was sitting fastball.
Yeah, the off-speed stuff really got him there because Kelly did a nice job deceiving it and mixing it up in a favorable fastball count, win with the off-speed. And we've got deuces wild. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs.
And 2 runners on in the second. Ground ball, done. Loves it, throws across the diamond, and beats the hustling Wilcoxon to first. Run comes across the score on the Christian Ortega RBI single. We've played an inning and a half. It is 1-0 Beavers here on the USPBL network.
Check your checking. If your account doesn't get you pumped, amped, or geeked, make the switch to Genius Checking from Genesis Credit Union. It's just genius.
You're the financial champion of Michiganders. Whether you're a goal getter, or dream chaser, an empty nester, or up-and-comer, anyone in Michigan can bank with us. Michigan Schools and Government Credit Union.
Back here on the USPBL network, 1-0. The Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers on top of the Eastside Diamond Hoppers. Ryan Schellenbarger, Joe Califoot, Anthony Flores due up for Ryan Kotke's Hoppers. But Jake Armstrong pitching with the 1-0 lead.
Yeah, Armstrong looks sharp in that first half of the first inning, and both pitchers look sharp, but For the Hoppers, it was Kelly that was unable to put together back-to-back innings. Some of it not to his own fault. He had some tough breaks, but it'll be interesting to see how Armstrong responds to that really quick 1-2-3 easy inning in the top of the first. I beg your pardon, the bottom of the first.
Brian Schellenbarger comes up to bat. He was a big reason why they won their non-public game earlier in the week. He went yard for his second dinger of the season. He's a big bat from the left side. First pitch fouled straight back. 82 on the gun. He was looking to turn and burn on that one.
Wind's starting to pick up a little bit, Brady, blowing out to right now.
If any lefty can get underneath one, they'll have a little aid trying to push it over that right field fence. You know, look at the dimensions of Jimmy John's Field. I'd say it's pretty fair all the way around. It's never too deep. There's no short porches. As that one crushed to right field, and Schellenbarger playing us a song over the band stage in right center. Right on cue, Brian Schellenbarger absolutely crushes it, and we're tied at 1 here in the second.
Boy, it's like he read our minds up here, Brady. He's spoken into existence. It was a prophetic discussion about the wind, but that ball didn't need any wind. He hit that one right on the screws. Goodbye, baseball. We're all tied up at 1.
And I was giving Schellenbarger a little bit of, was teasing him a little bit, saying, hey, when are you going to hit a home run for us in a public game? You do it when no one's here. And, well, didn't wait long. 99 miles per hour out off the bat. That's moving pretty quickly.
Third bomb of the season. Impressive.
Projected distance of about 394. So he pulled it, and just about anywhere in Jimmy John's Field, that's a round tripper. So you give up the lead in the top of the inning, but Schellenbarger had his pitchers back. Califoot hits a ground ball to the left side. Ortega fires one over to Stubbs. Good bounce back pitch from Jake Armstrong.
And Ortega, we talked about the nerves up to bat, playing in his first professional game, first game in the USPBL. How about the nerves defensively? None. At least it didn't look like it there. Clean field, fired across the diamond for out number 1.
Anthony Flores up to bat. And one thing that maybe some fans don't think about, and it's easy to forget, is some of these guys have never played in a stadium this size with a crowd this size. Is the 1-0 popped up for Flores, playable in foul territory. And Stevenson couldn't quite get underneath it. That backspin just too much. But basically, unless you play high-level major D1 baseball, you're not going to play in front of a lot of crowds that have 4 digits in front of them. That's just the nature of the beast. And you get here, and this might be your first time playing in front of 3,000 fans. As you look down the side, you see our fans sitting in the diamond suites behind home plate. And it might take a second to, take it all in and get used to playing with the big crowd.
Well, you're not wrong either, Brady. And with beautiful amenities here at Jimmy John's Field. You got the pavilion out in left. You got the green umbrellas protecting the fans from foul balls down the left field line, right field line. And you're exactly right. It is a tremendous spectacle here at Jimmy John's Fields. And if you haven't played in this type of environment prior, it can take a little while to get used to.
2-2 to Anthony Flores. Breaking ball away.
New life for Flores after Stevenson was unable to come up with that catch behind home plate. We'll see if he can make advantage of it.
Payoff pitch. Fouled straight back. Flores was on it. Count remains 3-2. And a lot of these guys have played high-level college ball, have had success. I mean, we've had so many Georgia Gwinnett guys. That's been a very successful program, but really, you just don't get those huge crowds. The 3-2 pounded into the dirt. Charging in, Ortega throws across the diamond and unable to be scooped by Stubbs. Flores moves up to second, going all the way to third. The throw not in time. So Flores uses the error to his advantage and moves from first to third Now a chance to take the lead here in the bottom of the second.
Boy, heads up base running from Flores all the way around. He, like you said, Brady, pounded it into the dirt. Tough play for Ortega. And if you're Stubbs over there at first, I know it's a tough play, but you got to come off the bag and just do anything you can to ensure that ball doesn't get by you, because that becomes a two-base error at that point as opposed to just an infield single.
So if you're keeping score at home, they did give Flores the infield hit. It would have been a close play. I can see how you give him the single and then you give the error that moved him up to third base. So give the hit to Anthony Flores, as he's in scoring position for Taj Porter, who does the job. Ground ball to second. Judd playing back, takes the out at first, but easily brings home Flores. Diamond Hoppers on top, 2-1.
Yeah, Porter recognizing that the infield's back, just needs to get the ball in play, and was able to do so with the soft ground ball to second base. And you're the Beavers, I am a little bit surprised this early in the game that perhaps the infield wasn't in a little bit, forcing Porter to lift the ball to the outfield, but nonetheless, I digress, and we've got a 2-1 lead for the Diamond Hoppers.
Well, it could be. Hey, it's early in the game. There's no need to press and try to save every single run. First pitch, wave and a miss from Maddox. And again, that's a nice pitch from Armstrong. That was a handle shot from to Porter, but with the infield back, it was easy RBI, as it's quickly 0-2 on Maddox. The slider caught the outside part of the plate. Righty into the motion. Another slider way outside. 1-2. Foul ball. That'll head towards the highway. Count remains 1-2. Both offenses have maybe settled in a bit. Armstrong into the motion. Another foul straight back. Absolute battle between Armstrong and Maddox.
Yeah, this is a refreshing sight if you're a Hoppers fan, because it's easy to hang your head being down early 1-0, especially given the way the run was generated, but the offense bouncing right back.
Fly ball right field. That's slicing away from Hillbridge, and it gets down all the way to the corner. Maddox will keep going around second. Cocky waving that windmill and in with the triple. Getting up, Maddox. Throw got away, and he will come in to score. Todd Maddox with the triple, and then the error brings him home. And it's 3-1 Diamond Hoppers just like that.
Not quite a Little League home run, because you got to give him credit for the triple, but the costly throwing error again will send him home, and we're seeing it all in this second inning.
And that's the second throwing error of the inning. But you don't see too many triples. We talked about how fair this ballpark is. There's no triple alley. He put it right in the corner, and you could tell off the bat that it had that slice away from the right fielder Hillbridge, and it got right into the corner. And it was funny watching Maddox. He started to pull up a little bit at second, maybe out of habit. And Ryan Cocky in that third base coaching box, you can see him in the background right there. He was getting that right arm pumping.
Well, he knew it was wand night here at the ballpark. He was waving that wand. Let's go. Come on.
He was willing Maddox over to third. Chandler Dunn up to bat. 2 balls and a strike. Nobody on, 2 away, but 3 runs home here in the second for the Eastside Diamond Hoppers. 2-1. High pop-up. Foul territory. Stevenson hustling back, and he can't get to it in time. He was a little delayed taking the mask off. I think he thought it went out of play.
Yeah, that's twice now if you're Stevenson. If you're a young catcher at home, and really any infield position, with that foul ball pop-up that's skied in the air, it's always going to come back, and it's always going to come back more than you think. And in both examples with Stevenson here, I would venture to say the ball came back into fair territory or closer to the infield than he had envisioned.
Foul ball again on 2-2, but that's something even the best of the best struggle with. You'll see at the major league level, guys that their job is to make that play struggle to make it because there's just so much backspin, and it gets 100-some feet in the air. It's really hard to judge. Flare to the right side, that could be trouble. Off the glove of Stubbs. Taking the turnaround first, Dunn, he will hold up. But a bloop single for Dunn keeps the inning alive. Wow, when it rains, it pours for Jake Armstrong.
I guess so. That was a tough play at first base for Stubbs. And the ball just kept feeling like it was fluttering away from him. Did look like he got glove on it, though. And it'll go down in the book as a single. But that's a play, I think, if you're Stubbs, can take a little bit better angle to the ball. But really, it was just placed perfectly in no man's land by Chandler Dunn.
Couldn't really throw it out there any better. As we get a meeting on the mound. 7th batter of the inning is coming up, as there is some action in that Beavers bullpen. But again, okay, he gave up the home run and he gave up the triple, but Flores singled wasn't a hard hit ball. Dunn single was not a hard hit ball. Both innings have kind of mirrored each other. Now the difference has been Schellenbarger hit one nearly 400 feet and Maddox hit one in the corner. Those were two barrels, but I think both pitchers have kind of deserved a better fate than what they've gotten through the first 2 innings.
No doubt, and also worth pointing out that there's been an element defensively for Armstrong that's let him down a little bit. A couple of costly errors that resulted in 2 base errors. You know, not all errors are created equal, and that's really fueled or helped fuel this offensive inning for the Hoppers.
Luis Acevedo with his second at-bat of the day. Flied out to right his first time up. 1-0. Missed the zone 2-0.
And if you're Armstrong, you can't press here. Your stuff's been impressive. Keep pounding the zone, stick to the game plan, and the rest will follow.
Well, walks have not been an issue. He's been putting it in the zone, except now we have a 3-0 count. And maybe Armstrong overthinking it a bit too much, maybe a bit frustrated by how this inning's gone, because he has had pretty good command so far.
Exactly. Can't try and do it all on himself. Just keep pounding the zone like that.
Middle on 3-0. Acevedo taking all the way. Armstrong looks in, Dunn. Short, cautious lead off of first. Wave and a miss at the 3-1. Count runs full. That means Dunn will be in motion with this next pitch. Armstrong trying to get out of the second. Dunn on the move. The 3-2 fouled out of play. We will do it again. 3 runs home this inning. Brian Schellenbarger led off the inning with a home run. Anthony Flores came in to score after a Taj Porter groundout, and Maddox scored on a triple plus an error. The 3-2 hit into right field. Hilbrich had it played perfectly, didn't even have to take a step, and the inning comes to an end after 8 batters come to the plate, and the Diamond Hoppers push across 3 runs. We've played 2 full. Diamond Hoppers 3, Beavers 1 here on the USPBL network.
We gotta clean this place up. What? So we gotta clean this place up. It's a mess. First, the house is a mess. What can we call? What's the number? 586-932-4090. Give me a call. Hi, how soon can you guys come clean our house? Right here, ready? I can't do that.
Hi, Donna does cleaning. We're here to clean, so you don't have to.
You guys got here quick. Come on in. This was unbelievable. Definitely worth 5 stars. What do you think? This is amazing. Sure.
Let's hear it for
Back here in downtown Utica, Brady Beaton alongside Jake Riepma for this Thursday night action. Diamond Hoppers on top 3-1 as it's the top of the Beavers order. Due up Chris Davis, Rudy Ramirez, JD Stubbs, Chris Kelly pitching with the lead for the first time today.
Yeah, and for Kelly, the first time he faced this order, Davis singled and then was immediately eliminated with that Rudy Ramirez ground ball that the Hoppers turned for a 5-4-3 double play. And after that, Kelly's really settled in that first inning and then gave up the 1 run in the second inning. So we'll see how he fares the second time through the order here for the Hoppers.
Well, in a vacuum, if you look and go, okay, first time through the order, he gave up 4 hits. But look at how those 4 hits happened. Chris Davis had an infield single, which he legged out. Okay, fair enough. Hillbridge doubles on a play where, well, Califoot just slips, and Ortega has a high chopper single. Judd pushes one the other way. So he gave up 4 hits, but he's been throwing pitches like that where he gets weak contact as Dunn comes in, throws to first, and, well, wouldn't you know it, another infield single for Chris Davis, 2 for 2 on the day.
Boy, I tell you what, Brady, Chris Davis has an uncanny ability to hit them where they ain't, and that is such an underrated skill, and I don't know how you teach it, but Chris Davis has it figured out, and with that blazing speed down the first base line, forget about it. Infielders just, and that one, you almost saw the frustration from Dunn as he kind of tossed it over to first, like there's no chance I'm getting this guy.
And there's, again, that's a really nice pitch. That is a result you want to see if you are a pitcher. Like, you look and it's off the bat, it's 44 miles per hour off the bat. I mean, that's as softly hit of a ground ball as you can get. But now you have to worry about Davis' speed over at first. First pitch to Ramirez, middle for strike 1.
You're right about that, Brady. 6 for 8 on the season in stolen bases for Chris Davis.
He's inching off of first. The 0-1 over again. Caught a lot of the plate. Ramirez maybe a bit gun shy. That double play came on the first pitch he saw. Maybe wanted to take a little more patient approach, but Chris Kelly attacking here to Ramirez. 0-2 very quickly. Can't get the outside corner. He got that pitch similar last inning, seeing if he could fish and get it again.
Yeah, why not? See exactly how far of the freedom he'll have on the outside part.
Breaking ball fouled back towards the screen.
This home plate umpire has been very generous with his strike zone, in particular on the outside part of the plate.
He does like to give it to the outside part to righties, but I will say every time I've had him, it's been pretty consistent. So everyone knows what you're going to get coming into the game. The 1-2. High chopper to short. Dunn comes in. Only play he has is the first, and he retires Ramirez. Davis moves up to second on the play.
So Dunn getting the sure out at first, and easy for us to say up here in the booth. It feels like the game, you know, goes a little bit slower than when you're actually playing there.
Right.
But I thought maybe he could get Davis at second base, but you love taking the sure out to minimize what could have been even more damage if Davis beats that to second base.
I do think it's it was out of the question to turn 2 as a ground ball goes through the legs of Kelly into center field. Flores to the plate, the tag, they gun down Chris Davis. What a throw from Anthony Flores, keeps it at 3-1.
Boy, Anthony Flores came up throwing, and a nice tag applied by Porter, because as Porter received that ball, the job was not done. He had to extend out past home plate and then come back. Davis, a good base runner, alertly sliding to the back part of home plate, but Porter still able to apply the tag. Flores to Porter, the put out to save a run.
We just were talking about how Chris Davis has some pretty good speed, and he's not a guy that gets thrown out like that too often, as Bolin takes it the other way for a base knock. Stubbs trying to go first to third, the throw, the tag, not in time. Oh, they're saying he came off the base, and Stubbs thrown out, and John Dombrowski going to have a word with the umpire. He does not agree with it. Maybe a little frustrated that he has had 2 guys thrown out, as this conversation will not go Diesel's way. So a couple of hits for the Beavers. In fact, 3 hits result in no runs, and that was our 5th third out of the game. We'll head to the bottom of the 3rd, 3-1 Diamond Hoppers here on the USPBL Network.
All right, thanks, Kevin. I got time for the DTE Kids Race the Mascot. I'm here with my buddy Braden. We're just getting input in our place. He's going to take on Ribby tonight. Braden told me he's super fast and he's a pitcher, so I think he's got this in the bag. But Ribby told me he's ready to go. All right, so Marcus is going to maybe distract Ribby a little bit. All right, Braden, on your mark. Get set. Go, get Ribby. Oh, man, I saw that, Marcus. Did it work? All right, Braden, come on, even with those flip-flops. I think you can beat Ribby. Ribby, you're looking a little fast today. Oh, maybe the sun got in his eyes when Braden is catching up fast. Make some noise. Braden's starting to get some momentum. Come on, Braden. Uh-oh, Ribby's catching up. Give me a high five, bud. Nice job.
Back here on the USPBL Network, when it's time for baseball, it's time for beer. Two Hearted Ale has been named the #1 beer in America for the past 4 years by members of the American Home Brewers Association. Play ball with the best, Two Hearted Ale. The iconic American IPA from Bell's Brewery, Comstock, Michigan. Please drink responsibly. 3-1 Diamond Hoppers here in the bottom of the 3rd, and well, we just saw how their outfield can sling it around a little bit.
Well, you're not kidding, Brady. I mean, 2 back-to-back outs from impressive throws from the outfield that, as you put it, gunned down base runners, 1 at the home plate, 1 at third base, and that can be a pitcher's best friend as well.
Noah Marcoux, Joe Burke, and Bryant Schellenbarger, one of the guys we saw show off his arm. Now he was assisted a little bit by maybe a guy coming off the bag, but still an impressive throw nonetheless. 2-0 to Marcoux. Struck out swinging in his first at-bat back from the injured reserve. 3-0. Jake Armstrong still out there looking for better fortunes here in the 3rd. Line drive right field. Hilbrich on his horse. It gets over his head and over the wall onto the hill. A ground rule double for a ball that barely got over the fence on the line. Took a high hop, and it's a leadoff double for Marcoux.
Yeah, and if you're Hilbrich out there in right for the Beavers, wasn't the best angle that he took at that ball, albeit it was hit very well. I think he could have at least gotten in front of it and maybe tried to make a play to prevent the double, but nonetheless, tremendous leadoff at bat by Marcoux, who looks very comfortable.
That's why Ryan Cockey, Mike Rice, so excited to have him back in the lineup. I mean, you can provide that out of the 2 spot. That's going to give a shot in the arm to the offense.
Yeah, we saw his first at bat, sure a strikeout, but definitely going to take some time to get the timing back, get into game mode when you're coming off an injury. And when I say take time, it only took 1 at bat. There he is on second base with the ground rule double after his second AB.
Joe Burke hit it hard last time, but it was to the center fielder, Davis. They are playing him slightly to pull. Davis, I'd say about 10 feet to the left of second base out in center. The 1-1 fouled straight back, 1-2.
And there's that flagpole beyond the batter's eye in center field. Now Brady not moving at all, no wind.
Yeah, that flag sometimes can be deceptive with that wall of trees. When it's blowing out, you usually get a good read, but when it's blowing in, sometimes those trees can block it, and it's hard to tell. And you get it up in the jet stream, and it just swirls around. The 1-2. Popped up, perhaps playable. Stubbs runs out of room. Count remains 1-2.
A decent amount of foul territory here at Jimmy John's Field. And as we mentioned in the last half inning, those foul balls with that backspin can always come back and find themselves back in play. So nice job by the infielders there, not giving up on it.
Well, down the line, there's a ton of space. Like, it is cavernous down the first and third base line. Just, you never know if it's going to get out of play as Burke retired with the slider. Swung through it, one on, one away. But directly behind home plate, there's not a lot of room from home plate straight back. The fans are pretty close, so down the line there's a lot, but like right behind home plate, there's not a lot of room. Ryan Schellenbarger comes up to bat. Absolutely crushed it his last time up. Looking for a similar result here with the runner on second and one away. Fly ball left field, deep but not deep enough. Rudy Ramirez brings it in a step and a half from the track, and a dangerous bat in Schellenbarger retired in short order.
Boy, he just missed that one, and he knows it, jogging back, going the opposite way. We know the kind of power he has. Went yard his last time up. That one just didn't quite carry enough. As I mentioned, he got it off the end of the bat a little bit.
Brings up Joe Califoot. Grounded out to third his last time up. Noah Marcoux led off the inning with a double, but how about Jake Armstrong? Has not wavered and trying to go through the heart of the order, 3, 4, 5, and get out of the inning. Breaking ball just nips the corner away to Califoot. Big swing and a miss. Went through that 84-mile-per-hour fastball at the top of the zone. Healthy hack from Califoot.
Yeah, if you're Armstrong, you got away with one a little bit there, leaving it up in the zone, but sometimes your stuff is that good.
No balls, 2 strikes. Wave and a miss. And Armstrong, after giving up a hard hit ground rule double to start the inning, goes strikeout, fly out, strikeout, and the Beavers get out of it without any damage. We've played 3, Diamond Hoppers 3, Beavers 1 here on the US PBL Network.
Because strong neighbors mean stronger communities. Where good neighbors do great. Member FDIC and Equal Housing Lender.
The Dave & Buster's method is designed to help you unlearn adulthood and reset your life around zapping stuff and cheering for stuff with your friends. Begin the method today with 5 free games. You know you want to.
Jake Remo back with you on the USPBL Network. So glad to have you along. Brady Beaton to my left as we are high atop Jimmy John's Field in a beautiful night for baseball. 72 degrees in downtown Utica, and a game in which you might have thought we not be able to get this one in with as much rain and hail in some parts of Metro Detroit that were in the area, but Brady, not a cloud in the sky except way to the distance to our left, but right here in Utica, it is absolutely gorgeous. And what a game we've got so far between the Hoppers and the Beavers. We've seen a little bit of everything so far.
Yeah, the first 3 innings have been very entertaining. Like you said, there's been a little bit of this, a little bit of that. We've had a long ball. We've had a guy get gunned down at the plate. We've had some infield singles, had some big strikeouts. We've had a game's worth of action in 3 innings, and I hope the final 6 are just as fun as the first 3.
Absolutely. 3-1 Diamond Hoppers as we head to the top of the 4th. Back to work goes Chris Kelly on the mound for the Hoppers, working with the 3-1 lead. And for the Beavers, he'll face Hilbrich, Ortega, and Stevenson working through this top half of the 4th inning. It's Magic Wand. I've also seen Harry Potter night here at the ballpark. We got a little bit of everything going on at Jimmy John's Field. Where else would you rather be? As Kelly, the right-hander, worked from the first base side of the rubber from the windup and delivers ball 1 low in the dirt. And Hilbrich is ahead early, 1-0.
He did double his last time up, but again, that was the play where Califoot slipped in the wet outfield. Went the other way, hit it well. See how Hilbrich attacks. I mean, he's had pretty good numbers coming into this game. So it's not a surprise he's putting good swings on the ball.
Now responsible for the Beavers' lone run, as he did come around to score on the RBI single from Ortega. The 1-1 rather, misses outside, and he's ahead 2-1. But you mentioned it's kind of a tough break for Chris Kelly as it was a fly ball that Califoot just lost his footing and left. The 2-1, hammered foul. That makes the count even at 2 balls and 2 strikes apiece.
Well, you have to be a little frustrated if you're John Dombrowski and all the Beavers. 1 run on 7 hits. 7 hits through 3 innings. That's a pretty solid performance, but not a lot of production to show for it.
The 2-2 swung on and missed. Down goes Hilbrich, and it's a strikeout for Chris Kelly, his 2nd of the game.
One of the reasons why the Beavers have not been able to capitalize is they've been out on the base paths. There's been a double play, and then last inning obviously had Davis getting gunned down at home and Stubbs being called out at 3rd where they said he came off the bag.
Ortega swinging at the first pitch, gives it a ride deep to center. It's up against the wall. Extra bases for Ortega as Flores gets it in quickly, but over his head in center field. And how about the debut for Christian Ortega? His 2nd hit, this one an extra base hit, and he's on board with 1 out, standing on 2nd base. Fine piece of hitting from Christian Ortega.
93 miles per hour off the bat. So, all right, the first one might have, if you're fishing, you throw it back. That one got all of it, absolutely clobbered it. And yeah, I think Christian Ortega's feeling pretty comfortable, picking up where he left off in college.
And this one gets away from Porter, the catcher, all the way to the backstop, and move Ortega to 3rd base with just the 1 out. Golden opportunity for the catcher, Luke Stevenson, who's ahead 1-0.
Stevenson called out on a pitch I don't think he liked last time up. Now, hey, just do a job. Infield playing back for the Diamond Hoppers. Just put a ball on the ground or in the air.
On the ground, up the middle, sliding stop made by Dunn. Turns and fires, fine play. 6-3 goes the put out, and a nice stretch by Burke. Stevenson is retired. Ortega in to score, make it 3-2.
I was a little worried about that throw. Dunn had some happy feet. He was not on balance. He was stuttering, still able to make the throw. And for Luke Stevenson, hey, you did the job. Saw they were back, put it on the ground. Get yourself an RBI on the line and pull your team within 1.
Marcus Judd will bat with the bases empty as Kelly goes back to work from the windup. First pitch outside for ball 1. And Brady, that pass ball or wild pitch, I didn't see how it was scored, but either way, allowing Ortega to get to 3rd was huge because Kelly continued to mow down the Beavers from the mound, but with Ortega moving up to 3rd, he was able to score on that Stevenson ground out.
And those are the little things that will drive coaches crazy, that can make a difference throughout the season, especially when offenses have been at a premium.
This one's in the air to left. Califoot's under it and squeezes it for the final out of the frame. But not before the Beavers cut into the Hoppers' lead. They played a run thanks to Christian Ortega's double and Stevenson's ground out. 3-2 as we head to the home half of the 4th inning. You're tuned in to USPBL Baseball on the USPBL Network.
First State Bank is a locally owned and operated business. We're part of your community. At FSBCares.com, you'll find ways that we're making a difference by featuring locally owned and operated businesses, providing access to helpful financial resources, and Fairytale.com is part of our commitment to the neighborhood. Because strong neighbors mean stronger communities. Where good neighbors do great. And that's us in Equal Housing Media.
Fifth Third Extra Time helps you do you better. So kick back and relax. You have extra time to avoid overdraft fees. Fifth Third Extra Time. This is making a Fifth Third better.
Welcome back to Jimmy John's Field. Jake Riepma alongside Brady Beaton for this USPBL matchup between the Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers and the Eastside Diamond Hoppers. Hoppers with the lead 3-2. It was a 3-1 lead before the last half inning in the top of the fourth when Christian Ortega laced a double and later came around to score. But back to work come the Hoppers. Adding Anthony Flores, the center fielder, will lead it off here in the home half of the fourth inning as Jake Armstrong in his cotton candy colored glove going back to work on the mound. The right-hander working from the windup delivers, and the bottom of the fourth is underway with a called strike. It's 0-1.
And I think Armstrong earned himself another inning. Remember, there was action in that Beaver bullpen as early as the second inning.
Flores rips it up the middle, but a sliding stop by Wilcoxon, throws over to first. Fine play. How about a web gem for the first out of the inning? And Flores is retired despite putting it in play. A well-hit ball, but a tremendous play by Wilcoxon over there at shortstop.
Talk about a smooth play. Picks it up, pops up, turns, and throws all in one motion. Yeah, that's one for the highlight reel. That's one that not only the Beavers fans like to see, but there aren't any scouts around. That probably catches some eyes and turns some heads.
And not a lot of shortstops able to make that play, and to do it so what appears effortlessly for the viewer. Just tremendous all the way around. Taj Porter will bat now. He's 0 for 1 on the day. Grounded out to second his first time up, but did yield an RBI with the ground out. However, he's behind 0-2 quickly as Armstrong wasting no time. Back to work he goes. The 0-2 upstairs for ball one.
Armstrong, since he gave up, well, since the first time through the order, he's only given up the one hit. That was the ground rule double to Marco. Done a nice job bouncing back, shutting down the Diamond Hoppers and giving his offense a chance to cut into the lead.
1-2 fouled off. And it stays 1-2. Beautiful night. Wind blowing a bit out to right. That's where the home run from Bryant Schellenbarger soared, but certainly did not need any help from the wind. It was a no doubt about her.
I'm gonna say wind could have been blowing in, wouldn't have mattered.
1-2 fouled off. We'll do it again. These two teams, the Hoppers 3 games under the 500 mark. Beavers right at 12-12. Anybody's game as far as the divisional chase. Just 2.5 games separating anybody at the greatest distances. This one's on the ground, foul.
Stubbs trying to plead his case. He is looking at, I think it did curve just a bit foul, but it's supposed to be where it was over the bag. And Stubbs obviously trying to argue his point because that would have been a pretty easy out.
Yeah, no doubt about it. You got to sell it all the way around, but first base umpire will have none of it. The 1-2. In the air, softly to left. Ramirez giving chase, sliding, tough play. And it falls harmlessly to the dirt. And it's just a foul ball. Hope Ramirez seems to be okay. Kind of a tough spot where the wall juts out a little bit from foul territory down the left field line. And as you mentioned, Brady, so much space there down the line in the infield part there. Tough play all the way around for Ramirez.
Well, you just wince a little bit and hold your breath for a second because he kind of slid directly into it. You hope he didn't jam anything. Luckily, he's all right. But yeah, that was a no good spot for Ramirez to try to make that play.
1-2 misses way outside, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes with the bases empty and 1 out. Porter struggled a little bit this year, batting a $175, entering play tonight. The 2-2. Check swing, did he hold up? No appeal. And we have ourselves a full count.
Did a good job keeping the wrist back and holding up in time. Nice at bat from Porter. Really making Armstrong work.
The payoff pitch. Outside, he draws himself a free pass, and there's one aboard with one out. Porter earning the base on balls.
Despite all the offense we've had, all the base runners, first free pass from either side so far tonight. So that's a testament to the pitchers and why they have success, because they attack the zone. And well, anytime your first walk's in the fourth inning, you're probably having a decent outing.
And conversely, I think the plate approach for both these teams is understanding that scouting report, understanding both these pitchers attack early and being ready. Porter takes his lead at first, and Maddox looks at strike one. Todd Maddox, the third baseman, had himself a single, or a triple rather, and came around to score on the throwing error, so we called it the Little League home run.
Right.
But it was an impressive piece of hitting to get the triple as he fouls this one straight back. And Brady, you made a great point with this ballpark, not necessarily yielding a lot of triples given the dimensions, but he placed that perfectly down the right field line his first time up into the corner and was running for days.
Say a well-earned triple, nothing cheap about that.
The 0-2 outside. Armstrong trying to nibble at that corner. That's been a generous component of the strike zone so far tonight.
You're up in the count 0-2. Why not waste a pitch out there? Hey, maybe you get a lucky call. If not, it's still 1-2.
Porter at first takes his lead. The 1-2 upstairs. Run that count even at 2. Shadows beginning to overtake the infield, but the pitcher, first base, second base, and shortstop still in the sun. It's the third base side that's in the shadows. The 2-2 upstairs, and Maddox has done a good job of working this count full after falling behind 0-2.
And pitching to contact's great, but sometimes you need that strikeout put away pitch, and that's one thing that maybe Armstrong just hasn't had tonight or hasn't had a ton of this season.
Porter at first takes his lead. The payoff pitch ripped into left, sharply hit line drive that's down for a single, and the Hoppers have 2 aboard with 1 out as Maddox gets his second hit of the game.
He barreled it up, hit it pretty well. 2 on, 1 away, and Chandler Dunn blooped a single in last time. Had to feel good with them struggling a bit. The Diamond Hoppers trying to answer the run that the Beavers pushed across in the top half of the fourth.
And for Dunn, golden opportunity here, hitting in the 9-hole. If he can flip this lineup card over, then you got the top of the order batting in a prosperous spot. 2 on with 1 out. In the air softly, and the catch made by the second baseman, Judd. That was right in between. I was waiting for the infield fly signal, but nonetheless, Judd makes the catch for the second out of the inning, and Dunn is retired.
Yeah, that's an awkward one because that's a pretty quick moving play. I mean, umpires, they have to think quickly too. Like, I'll be honest, I wasn't thinking infield fly until you said that. I'm sure if they dropped it, they would have retroactively applied it, but also almost the collision between Wilcoxon and Judd. They had last minute communication.
Top of the order, 2 outs, 2 on. Luis Acevedo looks at ball 1. Porter at second, the catcher, not with great speed, but with 2 outs, you like to think he scores on something to the outfield, as this one's fouled straight back, and Acevedo is down in the count. I beg your pardon, 1-1 count with 2 outs and 2 on. Maddox at first, he singled, and Porter walked. Armstrong trying to get out of it, get his team back in the dugout. Down just the 1 run. Swung on and miss, tipped into the glove for strike 2. Acevedo has flown out to right both times up prior to this at bat. He's 0 for 2. From the stretch, the 1-2. Upstairs, and deuces are wild. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, and 2 on. How about that?
Armstrong got to find that put-away pitch. Even if it's not a strikeout, just something that Acevedo has to offer at near the corner of the zone.
The 2-2, ripped up the middle. Right there to make the stop is Wilcoxon. Another spin and fire, are you kidding me? It's another web gem, and this one probably saves a run. Wilcoxon putting on a show, and the final out of the inning is recorded. No harm done. 4 innings in the books, and it's the Hoppers clinging to a 3-2 lead after some fine defensive plays at short by Wilcoxon. Back in a moment, you're tuned in to USBBL Baseball on the USBBL Network.
You dreamed of starting a company, not an HR department, but your business has grown fast, and so have the complexities of payroll and taxes, benefits administration, and other HR functions. That's why your business needs a professional employer organization like Tryon Solutions. Tryon provides businesses of all sizes access to top-tier healthcare and employee benefit plans. With Tryon, you don't have to grow it alone. Visit RelyOnTryon.com.
Top of the 5th inning on a beautiful night for baseball at Jimmy John's Field in downtown Utica. Jake Riepma alongside Brady Beaton. 3-2 game. Hoppers clinging to the lead as Chad Kelly goes back to work. Chris Kelly, I beg your pardon. Chris Kelly back to work on the rubber and continuing to pitch. He's been impressive all evening long. And for the Beavers, leading off in the 9-hole, it's Ben Wilcoxon, the shortstop, who Brady has made 2 of the finer plays you will see, and he has been a force at the shortstop position so far this evening.
Absolutely, and hopefully his defense can translate to offense, but he has left his mark on this game. If he can get it going out of the 9-hole, Beavers trying to tie it up here in the middle innings.
Great spot to start the rally, a 9-1-2 scenario here in terms of the batting order. If Wilcoxon can get on, he's 0 for 1 on the day, grounded out to short his first time up. Swinging at the first pitch and a gap shot. Down for extra bases, rounding first, heading to second is Wilcoxon. Found something he liked and drove it into the left field gap. That's a stand-up double to begin the top of the 5th. And the Beavers have something brewing as the lineup card flips over to the top of the order. Chris Davis to bat. He's 2 for 2 today. 2 infield singles, albeit, but nonetheless, always a threat from the left side of the plate is Chris Davis. He was an all-star captain after a successful first half of the season. And he looks at strike 1 on the outside part of the plate, 0-1.
Well, Wilcoxon, he's making his argument for player of the game. An extra base hit after 2 fine plays in the field. And, well, you set up Chris Davis looking for his 3rd hit.
That one gets away from Porter. And easily up to third, maybe more, was Wilcoxon. But then he alertly puts on the brakes. But nonetheless, the wild pitch will send Wilcoxon over to third base. Tough ball in the dirt for Porter, the catcher, to handle. And there's a runner at third with nobody out, as you see manager John Dombrowski have a word with Wilcoxon over there at third. 1 ball, 1 strike as Davis rips it up the middle, hits the rubber, gloved at short by Dunn, but no chance to get Davis. He's in there with, count 'em, his third infield single on the game. That one, though, was headed to the outfield, but it slowed down after it hit the rubber up the middle. And Chris Davis is 3 for 3 with 3 infield singles, giving an RBI on this one. And it is a 3-3 game.
And I don't think Chris Davis's 3 hits have combined for 250 feet. They have not gone far, but they don't ask how, they ask how many. And while Chris Davis, his already impressive batting average is being very nicely padded with his performance today. And that's the 10th hit of the game for the Beavers.
And the Beavers have fought back to tie this game up at 3 as Ramirez swings and misses and is behind in the count. 0-2.
Ramirez upset with himself. He saw a pitch he really liked, he really wanted, upset that he swung through it.
He's 0 for 2 on the day, grounded into a double play in the first, as this one's on the ground as well over to third. Glove by Maddox around the horn, not in time. Ramirez has another fielder's choice, as Acevedo's throw did not quite beat him, and Ramirez will trade places with Davis over there at first base. Put out goes 5-4 on the fielder's choice.
Kelly, see how he bounces back. He's seen the lead evaporate. Like the Beavers' approach, however.
Taking off for second is Ramirez. He's in there easily standing up, as he got a great jump on that and is into second with his 6th stolen base of the season. He's 6 for 6.
Kelly never gave a look over, and it's this new school leadoff approach. So the traditional leadoff, you turn, take 1, 2, 3 steps, you turn. Now you'll just take 1 step turn, and that's when you see the guys hopping. They'll hop to where their initial lead usually was, and if they feel they have a jump, they already have put that momentum forward and takes them to second. That's what Ramirez did. That's what got him the stolen base and put a go-ahead run in scoring position.
Just the 1 out, so still a golden opportunity here for Stubbs, batting from the left-hand side of the plate. Swung on and miss in the dirt. Porter keeps it in front of him. And Ramirez will have to stay at second base. 2 balls and 1 strike. 1 out in the 5th, and a now tie game after the Beavers plated a run here in the top half of the 5th. That one misses outside, and it's 3-1.
Still no action in that Diamond Hopper bullpen. Maybe just get someone stirring just in case. You see Kelly starting to lose a little bit of the command.
The 3-1 inside. And Stubbs is aboard with a 1-out walk. First walk allowed by Kelly. And we're going to see a mound visit from Ryan Kotke. Will that be the end of the day, or is it just a mound visit pep talk for Chris Kelly?
Well, it looks like they're going to send someone out to the pen to start warming up a bit. Looked like Delmas Russ was heading out to the pen to start to get loose. So very brief meeting with Ryan Kotke. He said what he needed to say and trying to get out of this inning with the tie game still intact. Malik Bolin, if you make a mistake to him, he can turn and burn, and all of a sudden you find yourself down 3. There you see Russ just starting his warm-up routine.
A very one-sided conversation from Kotke to his pitcher, Chris Kelly. And here we go. 2 on with 1 out. Bolin is the batter. And a nice response from Kelly as he delivers a fastball for strike 1.
Had to have been taking all the way. That was middle at about 84 miles an hour. That's what Bolin's looking for.
0-1 misses downstairs, and it's 1-1. Bolin grounded out his first time up, and then had a single that was then erased by a 9-5 putout, catching one of the Beavers base runners, trying to stretch it in from first to third as the 1-1 offering misses, and it's 2-1. In that inning, there were 2 outfield putouts that really eliminated any kind of rally from the Beavers because they just kept getting runners picked off the bases.
Yeah, and that's, you think if you're a Beavers fan or you're in the dugout, you're thinking, well, what if? What if we just maybe played a little more conservative? And again, hindsight's 20/20. They've done a nice job bouncing back, but yeah, they could have the lead. Who knows how far the rally goes if they don't get thrown out on the bases.
That was back in the 3rd inning as the 3-1 is fouled back. We've got a full count with 2 on and just the 1 out. Slightly open stance for the batter. Malik Bolin, the designated hitter. Payoff pitch. Fouled back. Ramirez at second base had taken off for third, as had Stubbs over there at first. So with the full count, just the 1 out. So the strike him out, throw him out still intact. But the runners on the move with 2 on and 1 out and a full count.
Ramirez trying to steal on Kelly. He's very focused on the batter.
Payoff pitch, also fouled off. Let's do it again.
That caught Bolin in the ankle. That doesn't feel good.
Nope, nope. I see so many guys wear those protective shin guards, but maybe Bolin will invest in some after this at-bat.
Still, if it bounces from a weird angle, it's hard to protect every part. Didn't look too bothered, but still. Anytime you get hit in the ankle, the shin never feels good.
Ramirez with speed at second. Stubbs is at first. The payoff pitch. He walked him. Bases loaded after back-to-back walks. And all of a sudden, Chris Kelly struggling to find the zone for the Hoppers. And the bases are loaded with Beavers. Ramirez is at third, Stubbs at second, and now Bolin at first for Ryan Hilbrich, the third baseman. Beg your pardon, the right fielder.
Good news, or excuse me, the bad news, Chris Kelly's only struck out 2 batters, and he could really use a strikeout right now. The good news is he struck out Ray Hilbrich already once tonight. So if you can get that repeat performance, maybe help get you out of a tough spot.
Corners in. Middle of the infield in double play depth as Kelly falls behind once again, 1-0. 3-3 game. Top of the 5th. Soft line drive into right, it's down for a hit. Ramirez will score, and that's all they'll get. Throwback nearly got him. And at second base, I think Bolin is lucky to be alive because the right fielder, Schellenbarger, threw back behind the runner, and they nearly had him dead to rights.
Oh, and Chris Dunn, Dunn not happy at all. Chandler Dunn has a beat. Again, there's a reason the umpires aren't 200 feet away like we are. But from my vantage point, man, it looked like he got that tag down before Bolin got that right hand back in. And so did Dunn. He was visibly upset with the non-call.
But we've got a break in the tie. It's 4-3 Beavers now as Ortega steps to the plate. What's he done so far? He's had a single and a double in his USPBL debut. And now a golden opportunity for him with the bases loaded, still just the 1 out. The 0-1 swung on and missed. It's 0-2. So Hilbrich at first with the RBI single. Bolin's at second, Stubbs on third with 1 out for the Beavers.
This could be the end of the line for Chris Kelly if he doesn't get Ortega out. It looks like Delmas Russ ready in the bullpen.
Swung on and missed, gets the huge strikeout. Ortega off balance that at bat. And my, that K looks massive in the scorebook right now with 2 outs. Able to keep the Beavers up just the 1 run, 4-3, and the bases still loaded now for the catcher, Luke Stevenson.
Well, that strikeout is big if you make it big, and that's if you can get Luke Stevenson retired for the 3rd time today.
Gets ahead with the off-speed pitch, 0-1. Outfield plays relatively straight up. Flores in center is a bit shaded to right field. The 0-1 fouled off, and Kelly all of a sudden 1 pitch away from limiting the damage to the 2 runs. And albeit the tie has been broken, however, he was still facing the bases loaded with 1 out, and he is 1 strike away from getting out of it here in the top half of the 5th.
Throw a breaking ball low and away, see if you can get Stevenson to chase. Whatever your best pitch is, this is when you want to deliver it. Might be the last batter you face, so you can empty everything you have.
The 0-2 outside, and a nice job by Porter to keep the ball in front of him. That's another component to all this, as Porter has had a couple get past him, one being a wild pitch, one being a pass ball.
That was the right idea, just the bad execution.
1-2 also outside. Even the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes with 2 outs.
You've gone soft away the last 2, maybe bust him high and in with the fastball, try to get him to swing through it.
Runners take their leads. They can be pretty aggressive with 2 outs. Loaded with Beavers, the 2-2. Check swing, did he go around? Yes, he did. And the strikeout will end the threat here in the top of the 5th, but not before the damage is done. 2 runs scored for the Beavers to take a 4-3 lead. We head to the home half of the 5th and a 4-3 game. Hoppers coming to bat next on the USPBL network.
We build roads, bridges, wind farms, and pipelines, schools to skyscrapers. Our members create monuments. We operate. We're the operators and mechanics behind the advanced heavy machines that move Michigan forward. We maintain boilers and HVAC. Our members run the complex heating and cooling systems that we all depend on. Our training is second to none, and safety is our priority. We are Operating Engineers 324, and we keep Michigan running.
What are the odds that we're neighbors, we've known each other our whole lives, and both tear the exact same things in this exact same knee?
So an ACL tear is an injury to the main stabilizing structure of the knee.
You want a good team around you, because then you know that what you're doing is going to help you in the long run.
My message to everyone who's helped me, thank you so much, because you guys helped me progress so much.
Also hearing it from a friend that's went through the exact same thing, I think sort of helps that know that there's a bright side at the end.
Home half of the 5th inning coming up. A new pitcher for the Beavers as they've taken the lead in this contest, 4-3. Brennan Cox on the mound, 4.71 ERA, 2-1 on the season in 21 innings pitched. He has allowed 22 hits to go along with 11 earned runs, 16 total runs, 8 walks, compared to 22 strikeouts. Brennan Cox on the bump for the Beavers, who now all of a sudden, Brady, they find themselves in front 4-3 after plating a pair back in the 5th.
And it's been a back and forth game, and Brennan Cox, one of the few lefties in the USPBL, so a little bit of a different look for the Diamond Hoppers. Some of their best bats from the left side, especially coming up right now. Marco, Schellenberger due up this inning. You'll get that favorable matchup in the lefty-lefty with Cox.
And Noah Marco, the designated hitter, will lead off. He had a double back in the 3rd, struck out in the 1st, but that 3rd inning was a nice job by Armstrong to bear down after giving up that leadoff double and escape the frame unharmed. So Cox, your new pitcher, on a beautiful night for baseball. The Shadows have taken over the infield, just the right field, right center part of the ballpark, the only thing left in the sun on a beautiful night for baseball in Utica, Michigan. Marcoux leads it off in the home half of the 5th. Hoppers batting down for the first time in this game as the first delivery from Cox is way upstairs for ball 1.
Take a look at Brennan Cox, the lefty. Again, just a 3-pitch mix. Fastball, slider, circle, change. So one that goes straight, one that breaks right, one that breaks left.
This one's fouled straight back, even at 1. And we're seeing that, Brady, with a couple of these pitchers, that they've mastered what they have in their arsenal and use it to their advantage, as opposed to trying to throw, 4 to 5 different pitches.
some of those guys that have deeper arsenals sometimes will keep them exclusively for lefty-righty batters. We see, okay, I only throw the changeup to lefties, I only throw the slider to righties. So in essence, some of those at-bats can only be 3 pitch mixes, but I like mastering what you have, like you said, Jake.
1-2, punches him out looking, and what a way for Cox to start this game. Down goes Marcoux, and is able to utilize that generous strike zone on the outside part of the plate for the backwards K. There's one away.
Cox, more of a strikeout guy than either of the 2 starters we saw, but that's a nice job using the environment to your advantage and taking care of a dangerous bat to lead off an inning.
Burke fouls this one back. He's 0 for 2 today. He flew out to center his first time up and struck out back in the 3rd. Is your Hoppers first baseman this evening. Batting .318 entering play today. Looks at the pitch on the outside part of the plate. Just misses, and it's 1-1. Cox is 1-1. Also misses outside. Make it 2-1 with the bases empty and 1 out.
Maybe a little more cautious with the righty Burke. Don't want to miss middle, would rather walk than give up a round triple.
In the air on the infield. Ortega is under it at 3rd, but he'll be called off by Will Coxon, the shortstop, who will make the grab for out number 2. And so far, Cox has attacked the strike zone and been able to take care of 2 dangerous hitters with relative ease. There's 2 away.
Well, that's what you want to see from a guy out of the pen. Don't waste any time. Challenge the hitters. I know it's only a 4-3 game, but if you look at hits, the Beavers well out hitting the Diamond Hoppers. And Cox, well, he's doing this against a tough part of the lineup. 2, 3, 4 in the Hopper order.
Bryant Schellenbarger will bat next. He's responsible for the lone big fly in this game. Homered back in the 2nd. Flew out to left his 2nd time up and is ahead in the count. 2-0. Should get something good to hit here. Bryant Schellenbarger, the right fielder. Lefty on lefty matchup, and it's 3-0. Quickly, Schellenbarger completely in the driver's seat here, ahead 3-0.
I know Schellenbarger just missed it last time, but you got the lefty-lefty matchup. Attack him a little bit.
3-0, swinging and skies this one to shallow right. Judd's under it at 2nd base, hangs on, makes a diving catch for out number 3.
An out's an out.
No doubt about it. It was a lazy can of corn, but Judd had a tough angle and squeezes it for the final out. Cox retires the Hoppers in order, 1, 2, 3. Head to the top of the 6th in a 4-3 game. Beavers coming to bat next on the USPBL Network.
We're for people, the pioneers, the underdogs, the players, and the slow and steadies. We're for people, for who they are and who they could become. Yes, we're a bank, and some say our business is all about money, but that's an old idea. Because look past the money, and you'll see real human lives. We see it, because we're for people. Huntington, welcome.
Companies are competing for talent like never before. With the complexities of handling tasks like payroll, benefits administration, and other HR functions, it's easy to see how a professional employer organization like Tryon Solutions makes all the difference. Tryon empowers businesses of all sizes to attract and retain talent by offering access to top-tier healthcare and employee benefit plans. With Tryon, you don't have to go it alone. Visit RelyOnTryon.com.
Welcome to the team from GLP International Tech and Converting. Welcome to the Brzezinski Group.
A very pleasant evening here at Jimmy John's Field. USPBL baseball, the Eastside Diamond Hoppers hosting the Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers. And what a game it's been so far. Jake Riepma alongside Brady Beaton, and a new pitcher on for the Eastside Diamond Hoppers. It's Delmas Russ in to relieve the starter, Chris Kelly. Russ on the season, 5.40 ERA, 0-1. He's thrown just 6.2 innings and allowed 4 hits, 4 runs, all of them earned, both 7 strikeouts and 7 walks. Delmas Russ, your new pitcher for the Beavers.
And Russ just trying to keep the deficit right where it's at. The Beavers had a good approach all night. Maybe a new arm can throw them off with rhythm.
Marcus Judd, the second baseman, will lead off. He made that catch to conclude the top half of, or I'm sorry, the bottom half of the 5th inning. And a sky ball to shallow right. The second baseman, Judd, was the one that ended up squeezing it for the out, and he'll lead off here in the top of the 6th. And a 4-3 lead for the Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers. As Russ goes to work, right-hander, works from the first base side of the rubber, rocks and fires. High and tight inside. Move the feet a little bit, huh? Back him up. What do you think of that, Brady?
90 near the chin is going to certainly catch some attention. Now let's see if he uses this to his advantage if he goes low and away with this next pitch.
The 1-0. On the ground to third. It's gobbled up there by Maddox across the diamond for out number 1. 5-3 goes the putout, and Judd is retired. One away brings up Ben Wilcoxon, the shortstop that's responsible for a couple of different web gems, as well as a double and the tying run back in the bottom half of the 5th. He got the rally started. And Brady, as you mentioned, probably your front runner for player of the game, given his productive on offense and defense so far this evening. And let's keep it going. Down the line, it's a fair ball. Making the wide turn, taking off for second is Wilcoxon. He is in sliding. Another double for Ben Wilcoxon, his second of the game. And there's a runner at second with 1 out here in the top of the 6th.
Well, shame on me that off the bat I thought it was a single. I went to write that in my book, and I look up, and Ben's racing around first. 2 extra base hits in the day, and well, the 2 men that have been bookending the Beavers order, Chris Davis and Ben Wilcoxon, 5 for 6, 2 doubles, an RBI, and a run scored. Pretty good night for those 2 men.
Chris Davis, that man himself, 3 for 3 with 3 infield singles at the plate now. A left-hander batting in a similar position as he did in the 5th inning after a leadoff double from Wilcoxon, and is ahead in the count, 2-0. Chris Davis with so much speed batting from the left-hand side of the plate at times just makes it unfair for infielders with some of those infield hits, and we've seen that several times this evening as Russ works from the stretch. The 2-0. Misses down low, and it's 3-0.
Heck, the way he hasn't put it out of the infield, but he's still seeing the ball well. A walk wouldn't be the worst case scenario, especially because you've done an all right job against Ramirez tonight.
And it's a 4-pitch walk yielded to Chris Davis. He's aboard for the 4th time tonight. This one by way of the free pass. There are 2 on with 1 out.
And Ramirez, he's put 3 balls on the ground, so maybe that's why you're a little lenient with Davis. You're not afraid to walk him. Double play now in order. So see if you can get Ramirez to put a 4th ball on the ground, maybe get out of here with spinning it around the infield.
First pitch of at bat, swung on and missed for Ramirez. He did ground into a double play in the 1st inning, had a fielder's choice in the 3rd and a fielder's choice in the 5th. Ripped up the middle, coming in and making the catches. Flores nearly doubling off Wilcoxon at second, but he's back safely. And he'll go down as just a line out to center for Ramirez, who has struggled today from the plate, 0 for 4, but that one was a well-hit ball, just hit him right at the center fielder, Flores.
I was going to say, poor guy nearly hit into a second double play with a great swing, 93 off the bat. And there's nothing you want to change about that. That's what you want to see. That's what you want the analytics to say, but right at him. Baseball is a fickle, fickle game.
One out with 2 on for J.D. Stubbs. He walked his last time up and had a single in the third, but that was part of that wonky inning that saw 2 different instances where the Beavers had base runners thrown out from the outfield. The 1-0 is swung on and missed, making it 1-1 for J.D. Stubbs. And now Porter out to have a word with Russ as they talk this over with 2 men on and 2 outs.
Maybe a little crossed up. Odd time for a mound visit after a nice pitch. Oh, maybe just trying to make sure you're on the same page.
A lot of speed on the bases. Davis at first and Wilcoxon at second, 2 of the fastest runners in this league. The 1-1. Check swing. Did he hold up? No appeal. Indeed, he did. And it's a ball. 2 balls, 1 strike.
Down a run as we start to inch towards the late innings. Want to make sure the job doesn't get any harder for that for the Diamond Hopper offense.
This one misses outside, and it's 3-1. Favorable hitting count for J.D. Stubbs, but also in the back of your mind, you got to know Russ has struggled a little bit with control, surrendering the walk to Davis just 2 batters ago. The 3-1. Outside, he lost him. Load him up. The Beavers load the bases with 2 outs here in the top of the 6th for Malik Bolin, the designated hitter, batting in the cleanup spot, and a golden opportunity to add a little bit of insurance with the Beavers already leading 4-3.
Bolin, usually a guy you want to pitch around. That's what they did last time when they walked him. Nowhere to put him. They need to come to the power hitter.
First one misses high and in. And Russ on the mound really struggling with command. He's already walked 2 in this inning. And Bolin batting from the right-hand side with an open stance awaits the 1-0. Also inside, it's 2-0. And perhaps that mound visit just a moment ago from Porter was in fact to help Russ settle down a little bit. He looks like he's moving rather quickly. Just needs to get comfortable. Now working from the stretch. The right-hander delivers the 2-0 and way inside to the back, but alertly every base runner back to their respective bases as that bounced off the backstop and came right back to Porter quickly. And everybody stays put. That could have been disastrous for the Beavers if you've got guys trying to break for home on a pass ball like that.
Well, we talked about it earlier in the broadcast, how there's not a lot of room from home plate, and it hit off one of those pads perfectly. I don't think you could throw it there again if you tried. Bad news, it's 3-0.
The 3-0 with the bases loaded. Down the middle for strike 1, and got to believe Bolin's taking all the way. Still in the 3-1 count. I'd be rather selective given Russ's control issues. The 3-1 swung on and fouled straight back. We've got a full count.
And that's one of those situations where if you're Malik Bolin and you swing 3-0, you just better be right. You better get a hit. You better square it up, because if you swing 3-0 in that situation and pop up or do something like that, then yeah, you're saying what you said. He's had control issues. Be patient. But if he doesn't, then you go, wow, that was the pitch to hit.
Full count offering with the bases loaded. On the ground to short. Dunn has it there. Fires across the diamond in time for the out. 6-3 goes the putout, and the Beavers lead them loaded. And Russ able to pitch around the damage to keep Birmingham at bay in a 4-3 game. We head to the bottom of the 6th. Hoppers coming to bat next on the USPBL network.
this world, like your dog being happy to see you, coffee getting you through the day, and the government changing business regulations. And when it comes to navigating those regulations, you can rely on Tryon and its team of attorneys. Tryon can also tackle time-consuming HR tasks like payroll and employee benefits, so you can stay focused on growing your business. With Tryon, you don't have to grow it alone. Visit RelyOnTryon.com.
Sun setting to start, sun starting to set. Let's try that again. The English language, who knew? The sun starting to set, and a beautiful night for baseball here on the USPBL network. So glad to have you along. Jake Rietball alongside Brady Beaton in a 4-3 game. It's been a little bit of a roller coaster. Eastside Diamond Hoppers got out to the early lead, and then the Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers fought back to take the 4-3 lead, but it's been a busy game. There's been a lot of traffic on the bases, Brady, but we'll see who can settle in and start to get some outs down the stretch.
Well, we're due for some runs. We haven't gone more than 2 half innings without the longest we've gone is 2 half innings without a run scored. So we're at that right now. See if the Diamond Hoppers can tie this up.
Collifoot leads off with a grounder to short, and you know Mr. Automatic, Will Coxon over there, has no problem with the routine play. 6-3 goes the putout, as Will Coxon has made some dazzling plays today. That one is as routine as they get, and Collifoot is retired.
Little upset. That was a middle pitch. If you're Joseph Collifoot, that's a pitch you might want back. Don't want to roll over one that's catching that much of the plate.
Cox, the lefty, goes back to work now with 1 out and the bases empty. Anthony Flores, the center fielder, stepping in, ahead 1-0. Watches this one go by for ball 2, and it's in a favorable hitter's count at 2-0. Flores had a single and then later scored in that second inning, and swings and misses here. It's 2-1. Grounded out to shortstop in the 4th. One of the fine, dazzling plays by Will Coxon over there at shortstop, who's been putting on a show this evening. 2-1 misses, and it's 3-1.
One way to try to get back in this game, be patient, work a walk. If Flores, you have a little speed and get on, try to maybe manufacture a run with the bottom of the order coming up.
The 3-1 in there for a called strike. And we have a full count.
Pretty good pitch to watch go by on 3-1. I mean, that's what you're looking for. Belt high.
The full count offering outside, and he lost them. And Flores is aboard with 1 out by way of the 3 pass. Just the second walk allowed by Beavers pitchers this evening. First allowed by Cox in his second inning of work here in the home half of the 6th. As Tosh Porter steps to the plate, 0 for 1. He did reach back in the 4th after drawing a walk, swings at the first one and misses. I thought that was fouled off, but apparently not, as Flores is able to break for second. The ball got by the catcher Stevenson. And Flores, as you see, standing on second, having a word with Judd. A little bit of a height difference there. Kind of looks like me and you pregame, Brady.
Just a little bit. But Porter, the switch hitter, hey, he gets the bat for the right side for one of the few times this year. See how he can do batting from what seems to be the other side for him.
This one's on the ground to first, and over there is Stubbs to gobble it up and make the play unassisted. As Porter is retired for the second time today. There are 2 away, but move Flores over to third. Porter is retired, I should say. And the tying run standing 90 feet away, but there are 2 outs, leaving it up for Todd Maddox.
Well, there's one guy you want to see in the Diamond Hoppers lineup tonight. It's Todd Maddox, the only Hopper that is yet to be retired by Beaver pitching. You can find a third hit. We'll have a tie game as we enter the late innings.
In a big spot here. Fouls it straight back. And do not adjust the audio on
It was close to the Nat mic.
On your laptop streaming device, AirPods, however you're tuning into tonight's game. They just happened to hit a foul ball near the hot mic. The 0-1. Soft line drive into right. That'll tie this game. Maddox does it again. He's 3 for 3. Into score comes Flores. And we are all tied up at 4 here in the bottom of the 6th.
Simple piece of hitting, went with it, didn't try to do too much, and did exactly what his team needed him to do. Tie the game up. Now, basically, we're going to have a 3-inning game the rest of the way.
And Dunn now batting with a runner on with 2 outs. Chance to keep it going as Cox delivers the first pitch for a called strike. It's 0-1. Yeah, can't say enough about the production from Maddox in that 8-hole. As this one's on the ground, but right back to Cox. Gloves it easy. Now the underhand flip to first. And the Hoppers are retired, but not before. This game is now tied after the RBI single from Todd Maddox. We head to the top of the 7th. Brand new ball game. We're all tied up at 4. Don't go anywhere. 7th inning coming up next on the USPBL network.
That's right, Kevin. You said it's time for the handle called Lucky Rose. So as you guys
Throughout your life, from big moments to ones well earned, we're your financial guardian angel. Alliance Catholic Credit Union.
Back here on the USPBL network, entering the late innings, and we're back to square one. 0-0 as we have a new arm on the mound for the Eastside Diamond Hoppers, Christian Stelling, as I believe the kids call it golden hour right now here at Jimmy John's Field. Brady Beaton alongside Jake Rietma, and it has been a fun back and forth affair. Hasn't been a whole lot of lulls in the action tonight.
Boy, you're not wrong, but you said it, Brady. Bust out those IG selfies, get some pics on the gram with this beautiful backdrop of Jimmy John's Field. Where else would you rather be on a fine summer evening in July than Jimmy John's Field in Southeast Michigan?
And it'll be Hilbrich, Ortega, and Stevenson due up here in the road half of the 7th. As Stelling on this season has not pitched a ton, just 10 2/3 innings of work. The good news, no earned runs against. He has walked 7. He fans about 1 an inning, so he's got swing and miss stuff, but sometimes that command can be a little off.
It'll be so crucial in these innings down the stretch to not allow any free passes because runs going to be at a premium. And you said it, we've got a 3-inning game now as the Hoppers tied it up in that last half 4-4. So every pitcher needing to be so sharp down the stretch here.
Beavers have amassed 12 hits. Only able to push across the 4 runs, but they've had solid approaches all night. Ray Hilbrich has been no different. 2 for 3 with an RBI to his name. A double back in the 2nd inning. He's been one of the Beavers that has just been pounding the ball all night long.
And base runners so important at this juncture of the game, just to get some traffic on the diamond and put some pressure on the opposition, in particular the pitching staff.
So the lefty Stelling working the lefty-lefty matchup. Fastball a rung too high up the ladder. Count goes to 2-2. Stelling works with a pretty good pace out of the windup. Brings the glove over his head, delivers. Flared but fouled down the left field line.
That's the right idea from Hilbrich, though. Just how many times we said it today, there's been some not so hard hit balls that have just been hit in the right spot. And when you're trying to start a rally, by any means necessary, getting on base and just keeping that order moving. And as I say that, Brady, I got to get some of that ice cream that we got here. I know it's Thirsty Thursday night, but could we get that delivered to the booth somehow?
Ground ball to the right side, easily flipped over to first. Acevedo to Burke, retires Hilbrich. So a good at-bat doesn't pay off as Stelling gets the first batter he faces out of the pen retired. And these final 3 innings are going to be crucial because you take a look at the USPBL standings and it's pretty tight. The Diamond Hoppers are sitting in last place, but they're not that far out. I mean, look top to bottom. The Diamond Hoppers 2.5 out at 11 and 14. The Utica Unicorns in first, only 13 and 11. I mean, that's a good couple of weekends, and now you're going from, all right, we're in last to, hey, we're sitting near the top and we're battling for that number 1 positioning.
It shows the parity in this league and the continuity amongst these teams where anybody can beat anybody on any given day. And as they always say, water finds its level. Given the parity in this league, as we are here in the middle of July, nobody really pulling away, nobody out of it, nobody in control of those standings.
Ortega fouls one away, looking for his 3rd hit of the day. And the Diamond Hoppers doing all this, and they had lost 6 straight, 3 and 7 in their last 10, and yet you're only 2.5 out. That's the silver lining. 1-2 catches Ortega looking dotted that low outside corner. Beautiful pitch from Stelling, quickly 2 away in the Beaver half of the 7th.
The only thing Stelling needs now is some super glue for his hat because it's fallen off every single pitch by my count. And somebody's got to do something for the poor guy out there. His hat just keeps falling off.
He does have a very violent delivery as that one took a little bit off to Stevenson, the breaking ball on that low inside corner for strike 1. Stelling does come with a 4-seam fastball, a curveball, and a changeup. The hat flies off again for strike 2.
I guess the only time the hat doesn't fall off is if he's throwing an off-speed pitch. That could be your one sign to pick up on it. If the hat's coming off, it's likely a fastball.
0-2 to Luke Stevenson. Swing and a miss. Christian Stelling makes short work of the Beavers in the 7th, and now it's stretch time here at Jimmy John's Field. Take me out to the ball game, presented by Genesis Credit Union. You're watching the USPBL Network.
Why are all these
Bottom of the 7th inning here in on the USPBL network at Jimmy John's Field, all knotted up at 4, and we're going to get a look at the 6'4", 225-pound Decatur, Georgia native, Jalen Sewell, as he makes his USPBL debut. And Sewell, a tall, imposing presence on the mound, coming to you from the south side.
Yeah, Brady, I mean, one thing's for sure, he absolutely has a presence about him on the mound, and at 6'4", the left-hander, it'll be exciting to see if he can bring that physically imposing presence into the USPBL and continue his success here at a new stop for the Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers.
He will face in the Diamond Hopper order, the top of the order, Acevedo, Marco, and Burke, as he tries to keep this game right where it's at. John Diesel Dombrowski trusting one of his newest arms in a big spot.
And that's a great way to show that trust and to really allow a pitcher to feel at home and feel a part of the team, is to be thrust into an important spot. And in a tie game in the 7th, it doesn't get much more important than that. And so it'll be interesting to see how he responds.
And Sewell, like a lot of others in the USPBL, a Georgia Gwinnett product. I believe we're about at a half a dozen now around the league. A very strong program. And Jake, it makes sense when, hey, here in Utica, Michigan, we get guys from Oakland University, 15 minutes down the road. We get Wayne State guys, 25. We get Michigan State. But to get so many from a program that's down in Georgia, way far away, it's kind of an odd pipeline, but they've produced a lot of solid players.
Yeah, exactly. And John Dombrowski talked a little bit about that pregame with Jim Essian, who's one of the other managers in the USPBL, how has just a network that spans many, many years and endless contacts, where he's able to find players from different contacts and keep that pipeline growing. And manager John Dombrowski really credited Jim Essian for that ability to find players from all parts of the country.
1-0 the count to Luis Acevedo. Pitch comes in 89 on the gun, but misses 2-0. Now with Jalen Sewell, see how he does in his USPBL debut. His last season, this season at Georgia Gwinnett, had a 3.54 ERA, only through 20 innings. So a lot of tread left on the tires here for his professional career. 2-1 pitch to Acevedo. Misses away 3-1. And baseball is unique, Jake, in the fact that, football, hockey, basketball, you get done, you have the whole offseason to make that transition to pro ball. Baseball, you get done, and basically you get a couple weeks, and for Sewell, about a month, 3-1 called strike, stay there. But you don't have a lot of time to really transition to pro ball. It's kind of baptism by fire.
Absolutely. We see it in the WNBA from time to time. Players are drafted right out of college, and then their season spans over the summer, so kind of a similar concept there. And you're right, no rest for the weary. But with Sewell only throwing the 20 innings, and we've got a pitch clock violation there that will allow the free pass. So some adjustments needed to be made, and for Sewell making his debut tonight, these are instances in which there might be some growing pains and some adjustments that need to be made in order for him to feel comfortable on the mound here at Jimmy John's Field.
So do we draw a little clock next to the base on balls for that one? Because, yeah, that's part of adjusting to the pro game, where technically there's the pitch clock in college, but it's not up and it's not as strictly as enforced. First pitch to Marcoux, a swing and a miss. But that's an adjustment, too. And I'd say here in the USPBL, again, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I'd say we're under a violation a game for the pitch clock. Players have adjusted very, very quickly. Chopper foul down the first base line.
Yeah, Brady, you probably know some guys, as do I, some old timers that might be, kicking the dust up and turning their nose up at the thought of allowing a free pass without even throwing a pitch. But here we are in the modern era, 2023. I love the pitch clock. I think it's been great for the game and really added to the value watching it.
Beautiful pitch on 0-2 to get the lefty Marcoux looking. Third time he's been punched out today, and that's the way to bounce back after the walk. Get the strikeout, brings up Joe Burke. 4-4 game here in the bottom of the 7th. Each side looking to just find that edge. Come away with the win to start off the weekend. First pitch to Burke misses away. Looks like with Sewell, we've had about a sinker and a slider. Trying to have a little bit of movement on everything as Sewell gets rid of that ball. And, well, guess he wanted a new Pearl.
Brady, I know your pop's a little bit and not all too well, but seems kind of like an old school guy. What's his take on the pitch clock?
He likes it. He likes the flow of it, and I think that's the biggest thing that, when you're working a game, it's one thing because you're engaged and you're really locked in. But when you're a fan, the biggest thing I notice, I'm not looking at my phone, I'm not getting distracted, because if you look away for too long, there's going to be action every 10 to 15 seconds, and especially you get to the later innings. I mean, Jake, we're 2 hours into this game and we're in the bottom of the 7th.
Yeah, as a fan, another part of it, if you're at the game, you got to make sure you get your hot dog, get your beer, and you can't be late because especially the way this game started, we had a 5-pitch half inning to start the first.
2-1, misses high and away, 3-1. And what it doesn't cut down on the amount of baseball. It just shortens the amount of downtime between baseball, and that's why it seemed like a stark change, but now that we're in July, Jake, no one really notices it anymore, if we're being honest, outside of a guy like Sewell, who making his transition to pro ball, all right, yeah, there's the pitch clock, I have to get used to it, but besides that, guys have made really quick adjustments.
Yeah, that's a good word for it, is the adjustment, because I would venture to say, despite Sewell suffering that pitch clock violation here in his debut, I don't think he'll do it again.
3-2 wave and a miss, but off with the pitch was Acevedo. He moves into scoring position with 2 away. Brings up Bryant Schellenbarger, who homered in his first at-bat, flied out and popped out his last 2 times. Schellenbarger doesn't need to put one over the fence here, Jake. If he can just push one to the outfield, you have to imagine they're sending Acevedo from second.
Absolutely. In a tie game, Acevedo with all kinds of speed at second, 2 outs, so he'll be off on contact. And if you're the Beavers, got to keep this ball in the infield.
Ground ball up the middle. They have Schellenbarger played perfectly. Wilcoxon over to first and out number 3 here in the 7th. 2 innings to go. Still deadlock between the Beavers and the Diamond Hoppers here on the USPBL network.
Why are all these business owners smiling? Because they rely on Tryon to handle difficult and time-consuming HR tasks like payroll, benefits administration, and more. Working with one of the nation's top professional employer organizations provides access to top-tier healthcare and employee benefit plans and Tryon's team of attorneys and HR experts. With Tryon, you don't have to grow it alone. Visit RelyOnTryon.com.
You can always rely on Tryon.
Slide into a new home. Work with a local mortgage pro who works for you. Get a cheaper, faster, easier home loan. Find a mortgage broker near you today at findamortgagebroker.com.
Make your move with a quick and easy mortgage from Genesis Credit Union. We have mortgages to fit your life. Genesis Credit Union. Visit us today.
Back here on the USPBL network. 4-4 here in the top of the 8th. As a new arm on the mound for the Eastside Diamond Hoppers. It will be number 18, Drummond. As Luke Drummond, the 6'4", 240-pound native of Temple Terrace, Florida, trying to keep this game right where it's at. Coming up for the Beavers, be 8-9-1, Judd, Wilcoxon, and Davis. Marcus Judd, 1 for 3 today. Judd will face Luke Drummond. Judd leading off the 8th. First pitch, wave and a miss. Luke Drummond. Well, we talked about guys that only have the 3 pitches. He comes at you with 5, although some are similar. 4-seam fastball, 2-seam fastball, slider, curveball, and one of the newer pitches, the split change, is the line drive, gloved up the middle by Acevedo, and a decent swing from Judd goes unrewarded.
Yeah, tough break for Judd there. But how about the Hoppers continuing to stick with the multiple relievers, as I thought Scholing looked about as good as anybody has in that 7th inning with the 2 strikeouts, 1-2-3 inning. But nonetheless, the pitching change made here in the 8th.
That's one thing that you'll get with the USPBL is want to get a lot of guys work, and you don't get to see the same guy too many times in a row. Outside of the starter, after that, you're probably not going to see a reliever a second time, and you're going to have to change up your approach a little bit. You can't be patient and wait a guy out. Now, play enough games here in the USPBL, you'll get used to certain guys, but have to be a little more aggressive with the relievers.
And now with Luke Drummond on the bump, he's got a job to do, just as every reliever had. Get his team back in the dugout in the tie game.
Wilcoxon with a pair of doubles finds himself down 0-2. This is low and away, 1-2.
Yeah, what a game Wilcoxon's had. The 2 doubles, he scored a run, and defensively, he has just been dynamic at that shortstop position.
Been a night to remember for him. Patient approach. 2 balls, 2 strikes after being down 0-2. Motion the pitch. Strike 3 called. Painted the black. 2 up, 2 down in the road half of the 8th.
And I think I owe Luke Drummond an apology, because he has looked dynamite on the mound in the first 2 outs for the 8th inning. And the combination of Drummond and Scholing has retired 5 straight for the Hoppers. 6 straight Beavers retired overall.
Breaking ball slips out of the hand. You just mentioned it. Last hit was Ben Wilcoxon, but his second to last at bat now, and that was a while ago. Beavers bats cooling off a bit. Chris Davis has reached in all 4 plate appearances. Single, 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 walk. He has yet to be retired tonight. Ball and 2 strikes. Wouldn't this be a big, much-needed 1-2-3 inning in the 8th, and setting yourself up for a chance, take the lead possibly, and put the Beavers on their heels. The 1-2. Check swing, no swing, the appeal. No, he did not. Chris Davis stays alive. 2-2. Swing and a miss. Chris Davis is human after all. He is retired, and a very brief top of the 8th. We're still tied at 4 between the Diamond Hoppers and the Beavers. Head to the bottom of the 8th here at the USPBL Network.
The Dave & Buster's method is designed to help you unlearn adulthood and discover the fun hidden within you. The you that doesn't think about adult things and stuff. Actually, I don't want to know anything about the car registration you're at Dave & Buster's. The you want to be. Let the Dave & Buster's method illuminate you. Begin the method today with 5 free games. You know you want to.
Bottom of the 8th inning, still deadlocked at 4. As Nick Bonk takes the mound for the Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers. Trying to keep this game tied. Bonk only with a very short resume. 5 innings of work, has not given up a run, so early returns have been good, but still extremely small sample size.
Yeah, Brady, I had the chance to see Bonk in action my last time calling a game, and he's got the tools. He has got the arsenal to be successful. Big, tall right-hander that has a presence on the mound, likes to fill the strike zone, pound the zone, and he's got a job to do. I know it sounds like a broken record. I'm being repetitive, but at this juncture in the game, tied late as a relief pitcher, just trying to get your team back in the dugout hitting here as we enter the bottom of the 8th.
And the Diamond Hoppers send up Califoot, Flores, and Porter. One hit between the 3 of them, 1 for 7 on the night. So a favorable matchup for Nick Bonk. The righty, first pitch, comes in at 93 at the knees. Califoot looking for his first hit of the day. A couple ground outs sandwich a strikeout. 0-1 misses outside. Jake, we haven't seen any super hard throwers, and with Bonk getting into the low mid-90s, that might seem a little quicker today than on an average game.
But you're absolutely right, and Brady, you mentioned it, the fact that as the game progresses and you start to see a new pitcher every single inning, it can be tough for hitters to get into a rhythm, constantly making adjustments and trying to understand the scouting report on a new pitcher each and every time through the order.
Ground ball right at Marcus Judd. Throws over to first, easily retires Califoot. 3rd time he's grounded out today. He spread the love around the infield. He grounded out to 3rd, short, and 2nd. He's gone around the horn as Anthony Flores comes up to bat. Someone trying to break this deadlock. It feels like this line score's been stuck here for a few innings. 4-4, 12 hits for the Beavers, and 7 hits for the Diamond Hoppers.
Yeah, and Brady, by my count, unofficially, just glancing at the scorebook there, that's 9 ground ball outs by Beaver pitchers. So the Hoppers have been pounding the ground ball into the ground throughout the course of this game. nice job by the Beavers pitching staff.
And if you want to get into some of the nerdy analytical stuff, the real baseball geeks, you always want a higher fly ball percentage because, in theory, some of those will start to leave the yard, some of those will become extra base hits, where really the best a ground ball can be is, if you put it in the right spot, a double.
Absolutely. From the hitter's perspective,
right.
yes. From the fielders,
pitchers, yes,
absolutely.
you're right. They want that ground ball because that can produce more outs. There's a fly ball. Lazily hit to center field. Davis converges, calls off Judd. He brings it in. Looked like he fought the lights a little bit there at the end, but still makes the play nonetheless. 2 away here in the 8th.
Boy, Judd, the second baseman, really likes to test the distance of how far he can get into the outfield. There was that fly ball to shallow right field that he ended up making the catch on, and he was heading out there until Davis finally called him off there in center, alertly calling off because every little leaguer has been told it's easier for the outfielder to go in to make that type of catch than for the infielder going back.
You also have to wait until you do get called off.
That's right.
Keep
Absolutely.
going. So that's just something that comes with playing with a teammate for a while. Taj Porter up to bat, 0 for 2 today. He has worked a walk, has an RBI to his name. Trying to keep the inning going here in the 8th. Line shot will do just that. Puts it into right field. Caught a lot of the plate, and, well, Porter made him pay. 2-out single, and the Hoppers have a little bit of life here in the bottom half of the 8th inning. Well, look who it pushes it to, Jake. Todd Maddox, who has, I think if the Beavers win right now, Wilcoxon is probably their leading candidate, but if the Diamond Hoppers pull this out, it's going to be hard to argue against Todd Maddox. He is 3 for 3 today. He has an RBI, a triple, a run scored. He's done a little bit of everything.
That's right. He's just been a menace for the Beavers pitching staff. But time for Bonk to buckle down because no harm, no foul on the 2-out single with the bases empty. Don't pay any attention to Porter despite him being the go-ahead run here. Just get the batter.
Working from the stretch. High leg lift delivery, too far away from the righty Maddox. See if they can get Porter aggressive at all, if they can catch Bonk getting into a rhythm. Just barely looks over that shoulder. No, Porter doesn't have the best speed, but 2 away, you can be a little aggressive in the bottom of the order. You try to make something happen.
That's a good point about the bottom of the order because you look at looking ahead to the 9th, if you've got the top of the order coming up, obviously in theory on paper that being your best chance to generate some kind of offensive production.
Maddox fouls it straight back. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 away. And we are tied at 4 here in the bottom of the 8th. Been that way since the Diamond Hoppers evened it up on, well, who else? Todd Maddox, RBI single back in the 6th. Bonk set. Big exhale, the delivery. Wave and a miss, and Todd Maddox for the first time tonight retired, and a big strikeout for Nick Bonk. We head to the 9th. Still not decided. We'll see if someone can break this deadlock here on the USPBL network.
Companies are competing for talent like never before. With the complexities of handling tasks like payroll, benefits administration, and other HR functions, it's easy to see how a professional employer organization like Tryon Solutions makes all the difference. Tryon empowers businesses of all sizes to attract and retain talent by offering access to top-tier healthcare and employee benefit plans. With Tryon, you don't have to grow it alone. Visit RelyOnTryon.com.
At Ascension, Michigan, we're committed to being your first choice for healthcare. Our nationally recognized heart program is the leader throughout Michigan in minimally invasive heart valve procedures. For joint replacement, spine, and cancer care, patients choose our specialists for advanced care and treatment. And we also excel in the things that can't be measured. Listening more closely, caring more compassionately.
Ninth inning, still nothing decided. And Ryan Kotke going to stick with his right-handed reliever, Luke Drummond. Brady beating Jake Rietma. This has been a fun one on a thirsty Thursday. Wizards and Wandon Wizards night, Harry Potter night. And, well, someone looking for that magic here in the ninth.
Absolutely, Brady, and you said it. We could just played one inning to decide this, but Drummond looked really comfortable on the mound in the 8th inning of work, so he goes back out there in the 9th. And for the Beavers, they got to find a way to manufacture some runs, and what better time to do it than with 2, 3, 4, albeit Ramirez has struggled from the plate today, 0 for 4, but nonetheless, you're starting with the 2, 3, 4. That's the meat of the order for a reason, and we'll see what that meat of the order can do here on a thirsty Thursday evening in Utica, Michigan.
Drummond has earned that 2nd inning of relief. Now, I know there's some new players, so we might have some new people watching. If you're curious what extra innings is, it's not going to be like traditional extra innings in baseball should we get to that point. It is sudden death. If we are tied after 9 innings, both managers will meet for a coin flip. Foul ball, ooh, that caught Ramirez. But 2 managers will meet for a coin flip. Whoever wins gets to decide, offense or defense. If you pick offense, you get a runner on first, nobody out. Whoever made the last out in the 9th goes to first. You pick up where you are in the order. Score the run, you win the game. You don't, if the defense holds you, they win the game. Simple as that. It is exciting. It's fun. And, well, it also, as a fan, you don't have to worry about sitting through a 16-hour marathon game. And you know you're going to get a conclusion, and an exciting one at that.
Yeah, we've all seen what Major League Baseball has done with the runner on second base and starting an inning, but that's a little bit different of a dynamic, starting an inning with a runner on second and nobody out, and still playing through traditionally with both teams getting to bat, whereas the sudden death component really throws a new wrinkle, also with the coin toss component of it. If you've got confidence in your pitching staff, maybe you choose to go on second base. If you've got confidence, or on defense, I should say, if you think you can manufacture a run, roll the dice on offense.
There's a let's go Rudy chance breaking out as he thought he worked a walk. And he will take a slow stroll back.
It's been a long time since I watched the movie Rudy, but I'm getting some shades of I'm expecting him to wear a golden helmet here in a second.
The 3-2 fouled straight back. Ramirez battling. You know, a lot of woes can be forgiven if you get a base hit here, if you put yourself in scoring position. Remember, last time up, he hit it on the screws. It was just right at Flores in center.
Yeah, and Flores had a good beat on that ball, but you're right, well-hit ball.
3-2. Strike 3 called, and Ramirez looks towards the heavens, might be biting his tongue, as he did not like strike 2, and he definitely did not like strike 3.
I'm glad you said that about strike 2, Brady, because there was, and I wouldn't necessarily accuse any umpire of this, but at times umpires hate when batters show them up, using air quotes here. Not saying Ramirez did that, but it can be perceived that way when they take off for first base in a 3-ball count and don't necessarily warrant the walk with the ball called. So umpires don't love to be, again, I use air quotes, shown up, but Ramirez did take off for first on that second strike call.
And remember, umpires are human. Whether that's something consciously or subconsciously, it can be part of the game. And that's just part of the game, knowing the umpire and knowing maybe some take more offense to that than others. 2-1 to Stubbs. Wave and a miss at the top of the zone. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Yeah, but Ramirez should be credited for restraining on any type of verbal argument, because we know what happens when you argue balls and strikes. It never ends well.
You will never win that argument. You might blow off a little steam, but you never come out on top. The 2-2 swing and a miss. Wow, did he have Stubbs in not with that pitch. 73 and on the gun, and Well, Stubbs was way out in front. Back-to-back strikeouts. Nothing controversial about that one.
You got to tip your cap to Drummond thus far. He has been mighty impressive, keeping hitters off balance. Tremendous pitch mix. You don't know what's coming next, and he's had pinpoint control.
Malik Bolin comes up, and Jake, in this situation, if you're Malik, you're a home run hitter, you have power. Why not swing for the fences? It's the 9th inning. I mean, there's 2 outs. Yeah, you can
Grip
try
it
to,
and rip it, baby.
You can try to push a single through, but hey, you're in a situation you can have an all or nothing swing here. The 1-0 misses just a hair up, and now you're in a good hitters count. And unlike last time when it was 3-0 and Bolin had the bases loaded, now there's nobody on, so maybe you can be a little more free swinging. Swing and a foul straight back, 2-1.
Yeah, Bolin did have a golden opportunity his last time up with the bases loaded, I should say, but was unable to get it done. But that's not to take anything away from his potential and what he's capable of.
Breaking ball had Bolin out in front. He was sitting dead red fastball, and again, Drummond pulls the chair from underneath him. 2-2. Strike 3 called, dots the knees, and Luke Drummond has struck out 5 batters in a row, retired all 6 Beavers he's faced, and now the Diamond Hoppers with an opportunity to walk it off 4-4 heading to the bottom of the 9th here on the USPBL network. Michael Esposito on the mound for the Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers, trying to force this game into a sudden death. It was a very offensive game, really, for the first 2/3, and here in the late innings, it has been shut down baseball, shut down pitching, as Esposito, he's one of the guys you want to be on the mound for you in this situation. Take a look at his numbers throughout the year. Esposito sitting at a .93 ERA. Only 9.2 innings of work. But in that time, Jake, 24 strikeouts. That's a pretty efficient rate. That means you're missing a lot of bats.
Yeah, absolutely. Keeping hitters off balance, keeping them guessing, and play the broken record. I know I've said it time and time again, but as a relief pitcher in a tie game, just so important to get your team back in the dugout. And in this case, if he doesn't, the game's over.
Right. And now just a couple things you want to think about. Again, remember the sudden death picks up wherever the lineup left off. Should the Beavers have to hit, they would send up 5, 6, 7 in their order. But Esposito on the mound, first pitch, swing and a miss from looks like the pinch hitter, Alex Pup. So he comes in to hit for Dunn, facing Esposito. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Yeah, why not roll the dice with the pinch hitter here in the 9th, I should say. Try to get something started, try to get a runner on, and manufacture that game-winning walk-off run.
Dunn was 1 for 3, but he kind of flared the one. It wasn't a hard hit ball. Maybe see if you can get something off the bench with Pup. The 2-1. Big swing and a miss. Tell that swing maybe just a bit too long to get that barrel through the zone.
Yeah, absolutely. Way well behind that pitch that had Pup, like you said, swinging and missing. And it's tough to come off the bench like that. Come off the bench cold and in a big spot as well in the 9th.
Gets a hold of this one just to stay alive. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Alex Pup, his only goal, get on any way he can, by hook or by crook. Whether it's he gets hit, whether it's a drop third strike, whether he stings one in the gap, just get on base and put the pressure on. Gets a little more of that one, starting to see the ball a bit better. 2 balls, 2 strikes. 94 on the gun for Esposito from the left side. That's never easy to hit. To the abbreviated windup. Swing and a miss in the dirt. Stevenson did a good job playing it. Throws down to first, and Pup is retired on the strikeout.
Yeah, how about Esposito coming in this one, throwing heat, touching mid-90s, and if we're being honest, Pup just a little bit overmatched. And again, a tough spot to be coming off the bench cold against a guy who is throwing heat here in the 9th inning.
Acevedo 0 for 3 with a walk. Again, you just want to get on base any way you can. Esposito works the southpaw, misses up high with the fastball. Acevedo has some speed, so if he does get on, you could have that running game on, but having the lefty out there helps control that a bit. 2-0, and the one thing you definitely don't want to do, Jake, walk the winning run on.
Yeah, I think any pitcher would tell you at any level, avoid that one.
3-0, and Jake, is there a universe where Acevedo takes the bat off the shoulder on this pitch?
Absolutely not. I told you between breaks a couple innings ago, is you got to, especially in a game with runs at a premium, you got to take away any extra swings and really just start to manufacture runs and do it by any ways necessary, which we see there with the walk.
4-pitch walk to Acevedo. That's the 2nd time in a row he's reached. Now it gets interesting. Noah Marcoux comes up to the plate. Marcoux struck out 3 times, but the one time he made contact, he stung a ground rule double over the right field wall.
Yeah, and if I'm Marcoux, I'm just taking mental note that Esposito wasn't particularly close on a couple of those offerings in the 4-pitch walk, and shows how much he's listening to me. Swings at the first pitch.
And that one was middle, to be fair to Noah. That wasn't on the border, but tried to jump all over him. But, yeah, Esposito wasn't wasting around. That was a challenge pitch, 0-0. The 0-1. Swing and a line drive down the right field line. That is fair. Up against the wall. Acevedo goes to third, and he will be held at third. The game-winning run held up by Ryan Kotke. Let's give credit to Ray Hilbrich and the Beavers defense. They got that in quickly because off the bat, I thought if that doesn't bounce over the fence, that's game over. But Noah Marcoux is 2nd double of the game, and it all comes down basically to Joe Burke.
Wow, I mean, back up a little bit. You talk about hitting the brakes. I'm over there looking at the stop sign. You got Acevedo who can really run. The relay came in, you said it. Credit Hilbrich getting it to Judd quickly, but Judd is making that catch well beyond the diamond, the dirt there, and he's got to make a heck of a throw, but he's not challenged. See as he receives it, and you got to wonder how this game's going to play out.
I will say it took a very nice bounce for Hilbrich, and he made a heck of a relay throw. Now, part of the thinking for Ryan Kotke, you have Joe Burke coming up.
Absolutely.
There's less than 2 outs. And even if you get him out, Brian Schellenbarger up next. By the way, the exit velo on that double, 102. That's a lefty hitting a lefty. And you think the Diamond Hoppers have missed Noah Marcoux?
No doubt about it. That ball jumped off his bat. And here we go, Brady. Infield in. Outfield has to come in as well. Acevedo on third.
Burke waves at the first pitch he sees. 0-1. Big strikeout spot for Esposito. Game-winning run 90 feet away in the form of Luis Acevedo. The pitch. Called strike 2. Now, Noah Marcoux is leading off a second. He could theoretically just stand on second, and his job's just not to get out in this situation. 0-2 to Burke. Big strikeout moment. Fly ball right field, not particularly deep. Hilbrick sizes it up, brings it in. They will tag Acevedo. The throw to the plate is bobbled, and Acevedo scores. The Diamond Hoppers win it on the Joe Burke RBI sac fly in the bottom of the ninth.
Boy, how about that? Celebrate if you're the Hoppers. You get the walk-off win. Doesn't get much more exciting than that. Hilbert did a good job. He got behind that baseball, delivered a strike, but it was just an in-between hop for Stevenson, and just a tough break for the Beavers because that throw was on the line. It was on the money. It just traveled a little bit too far, or didn't travel far enough because it gave that in-between hop. If that ball is a couple of feet in front of the plate, I think they make the catch and the tag on the hop, or if that ball travels the distance, obviously Stevenson makes the catch and applies the tag. But walk it off, Hoppers.
Yeah, that's a heck of a throw, and you obviously have to tag in that situation. You sell out, but a gutty win from the Hoppers. It was going back and forth all night, and there were some big-time performers for the Diamond Hoppers. Obviously, Joe Burke has that sac fly RBI. You look, the last 2 innings, shutting it down, Luke Drummond, it's hard to be a player of the game as a reliever, but he came in and was magnificent. 5 strikeouts, retired all 6 batters he faced. But, of course, we mentioned it, Todd Maddox, 3 for 4, an RBI, a triple, and a run scored. He was awesome tonight as well.
No doubt about it. So much production from that 8-hole, and if you're Todd Maddox, something to build off of because you really put your best foot forward here tonight and were a threat at the plate, a valuable asset in a league that offensively teams have struggled. So if you can be a guy that solidifies yourself as a production machine, which we saw from Maddox here tonight, you're going to have a spot on the roster.
Absolutely. And we'll send it down to Chelsea, who's with Joe Burke, our player of the game tonight. He had the walk-off sac fly. Chelsea.
On behalf of your teammates for today's win.
Well, I struggled, and everybody knows that. But if I had to pick one person, it was Todd Maddox, and he put together great at-bats all day. So did Shelley and Marcoux. Everybody came up huge. And shout out to pitching staff for just shutting the door and keeping us in the game.
I think agree. That was a really great team effort. You kind of sealed the deal with that last little hit to score. You guys beat the Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers. We're gonna do this all again tomorrow. You ready to come back for another one?
Absolutely.
All right. Well, Joe, thank you so much. The Don Ted's player of the game. Hoppers win. See you guys tomorrow. Back to you.
Thanks, Chelsea. And the Diamond Hoppers get the 5-4 victory on the Joe Burke sac fly RBI. Again, we'd be remiss. There were some very nice performances from the Beavers in a losing effort. We talked about Ben Wilcoxon all night. Jake, he showed up and showed out. Chris Davis got on base 4 different times. Those are things you like to see if you're John Dombrowski.
No doubt about it. If you're John Dombrowski, baseball is the game that lends itself to a quick turnaround. You're going to play again tomorrow, so you can't hang your head on this one. You got some great performances from a number of different guys, but you got to feel like this is one that got away considering the offensive production from the Beavers here this evening to only turn out 4 runs was probably going to be a disappointing component to this one, a disappointing takeaway, especially when you consider a couple of those runners were thrown out on the bases early in the games that really limited the potential to have that big inning that could have created some separation down the stretch for the Beavers, and this is going to be one that they chalk up to as getting away.
Well, the Diamond Hoppers improved to 12-14 on the year. The Beavers fall below that 500 mark with the loss. So after a 6-game losing skid, the Diamond Hoppers have bounced back and won 2 in a row. Jake, any final thoughts before we send the fans home?
Always a pleasure to be in the booth with you, my friend Brady. I hope you'll have me back. What a good time tonight. The kids running the bases. You love to see that. The weather gods, they got their ugly stuff out of the way early. We were able to get baseball in, and it's always a pleasure. How can you not be romantic about baseball? Looking forward to the next time we have the chance to be in the booth together watching America's pastime.
And it was a 5-4 Diamond Hoppers win on the Joe Burke walk-off. For Jake Rietma, I've been Brady Beaton. Thank you so much. Join us tomorrow when the Utica Unicorns take on the Eastside Diamond Hoppers on Faith Night. As for tonight, that'll do it. Again, your final. The Eastside Diamond Hoppers 5, the Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers 4. You've been watching the USPBL Network.
Ain't too many of the teams can defeat us. You on the sideline warming up the benches. Need a lesson I can show you, I can teach ya. You see a Diamond Hopper fan, point 'em out. Ayy, fly ball, catch a frog, walk it out. Ayy, every time we score I'm throwing up my diamond. Both hands in the air, same timing. Let's rock.